album, B-side.
What's going on with that PPP? You done a lot of talking, not a lot to see. Up in the millions like 2.3, but Jeff got it all, getting off scot-free. Try to talk tips like we talking about stock, but you're talking about men printed on called stock. When you open your mouth, I take it with a grain of salt, cause the market's down and you're a clown, it's all your fault. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. Did you dip, Jeff? I think you dipped, Jeff. What you talking about? I don't think you dipped yet. Willie's doing shady shit like the GOBs, like his whole failed thing with them NFTs, taking money from the people to pay. Most of them are broke, but that's okay, he's getting money. Even better, tax-free, loving all the stimulus from PPP. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit.
B-side on the beat.
What's going on with that PPP? You done a lot of talking, not a lot to see. Up in the millions like 2.3, but Jeff got it all, getting off scot-free. Try to talk tips like we talking about stock, but you're talking about men printed on called stock. When you open your mouth, I take it with a grain of salt, cause the market's down and you're a clown, it's all your fault. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. Did you dip, Jeff? I think you dipped, Jeff. What you talking about? I don't think you dipped yet. Willie's doing shady shit like the GOBs, like his whole failed thing with them NFTs, taking money from the people to pay. Most of them are broke, but that's okay, he's getting money. Even better, tax-free, loving all the stimulus from PPP. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit.
What is going on, everybody? Hopefully, guys are doing well out there. That is right. It is another Thursday night here on Sports Card Radio. Your favorite influencers are sitting back right now with their pen and paper in hand, and they can't wait to pump the next quarterback prospect down your guys' throat. Guys, Zach Wilson didn't work out. Mac Jones didn't work out. Justin Herbert didn't pan out either. Going back a little ways, Mr. Will Grier still isn't 4 times better than Kyler Murray. Josh Rosen has failed. On and on and on, but every single influencer over the next 4 months as we prep for the NFL season is going to tell you Caleb Williams is him. Jaden Daniels is him. When everybody tuning in tonight around the globe knows that the only true G's in the hobby is Sports Card Radio. We are joined, as always, by super producer Tim. Guys, he's been in more 3-way conversations than an 80s party line. And we are joined by Ryan, who looks like he is not in the great state of California, but he is in an area of the country where it is nearly 100 degrees, but it also has a little bit of snow. And that is Las Vegas, Nevada. Ryan's been doing the sports book. C-Blaz has been taking notes. And we've got a lot to talk about on today's show. What is going on, guys? How are we doing tonight?
We just got our third quarterback taken in the first round. So the hype for NFL cards and these players has just begun. I mean, Drake May, he's going to be compared to Tom Brady from now until 2 years from now when they move on from him. So 3 quarterbacks in a row just peeled off the board. I don't know when I'm sure they're saying that on TV if that has ever really happened before. So that is that's great for group breakers. They're popping the champagne bottles right now. If you're a fan of one of these teams, obviously you've already put these players in the Hall of Fame. And if you collect these guys as sports cards, expect to pay steep premiums. And you're going to have to forget about Justin Fields. Who was the guy on the Commanders? It was the guy Roth cards was hyping. And you're going to have to forget about Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. So, these quarterbacks come in, you get a year or two, and even if you're a top pick, you move on. And so these 3 teams have moved on. So very exciting day for the hobby, exciting day for football fans. There is hope springs eternal. And how about a 1-of-1 superfractor of Jalen Williams, PSA 7? It's probably worth more than that. I almost feel like I should slap a bit
on that. Get a little wax and rub, and that's a 10, guys.
Right. This is a perfect Kurt's card care candidate. Just slab this thing up, soak it for 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, and it'll come back a 10. And I'm sure you'll get $8 more than you would have at this time. But we do have some things to talk about in the sports card world. We got fake Victor Wembanyama cards. No, not this one that I'm bidding on, or at least I hope not. We've got updates to the Kurt Juice situation. We've got another website raising $8 million. And look, guys, exactly. That was 8 million.
Oh.
And guys, if you want to call in at any time during the show, there is a link, should be in the video description if you're watching on YouTube, probably Facebook too, but I will also drop it in the chat. If you would like to call in and share your thoughts on the sports card world, give a hot take, talk some crap, evaluate your NFL team's draft selection, whatever you want to do, feel free to call in and talk about, I don't know where you wanted to start.
Hey, I tell you what, let's start at the top. Let's start at the top. We got Caleb Williams, brand new quarterback. Like you said, every single influencer is going to compare him. Who was the last Bears quarterback? Oh, it was Justin Fields. And before that, who was it? Oh, Mitchell Trubisky. Before that, I think there was a few other ones. They haven't had a good quarterback. Cade McNown. They haven't had a good quarterback in Chicago in. Do you hear that sound, Ryan? What's that sound? Is that crickets? If we had sound effects from on today's show.
Jim McMahon's house? Or
I don't know if he was any good. Did he end up winning anything? Absolutely not. No, they did win
a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but it was because of the Iron Curtain, or was that the Steelers? They had a defense that probably could win some games in the NFL. You get those guys out of the rocking chair, they still probably could tackle better than some of these jabronis do in the NFL. We got Caleb Williams, guys, and like we said, over the next couple of months, really the next 3 or 4 months, all you're going to be hearing about is how great Caleb Williams is. But for all of these quarterbacks, the vast majority of them are going to be out of the league or holding a clipboard like Marcus Mariota. Like a number of quarterbacks that we've seen. The list is so long that you actually forget these guys' names. So we are going to be running not down the strengths. Everybody's going to be talking about how Caleb Williams does this. We're going to be running down the weaknesses. Caleb Williams holds onto the ball too long. He needs to get the ball out faster. He puts pressure on his offensive line. Ryan, how good do you think the Bears' offensive line is? Probably pretty bad. Yeah. He's a little short. He's a little short. We saw how that worked out for Kyler Murray. Those investments certainly didn't pay off. And he's still about 4 times better than Will Grier ever was. Those lack of height prevents him from seeing over some throwing windows. That's not good. They say his footwork could improve. So he gets the ball out late, puts pressure on his offensive line. He's a little short, and his footwork could improve. I don't know. Sounds like to me, Caleb's got a lot of work to do over the next 4 months. He also doesn't always step into his throws. He throws it off the back foot. That doesn't work in the NFL. his deep ball accuracy fell off in 2023. He's going to leave some passes short. He's going to force some passes into coverage. I guess that's we could be reading the scouting report of Justin Fields right now. Here's the interesting weakness that scouting report from Walter Football has noted. He has an ego and a high maintenance family. We'll see how that goes out. Guys, if you're 14-2 heading into week 16 in the NFL, everybody in Chicago is going to have their hair dyed pink and going to have their nails done. If you're 2-14, the ego and the high maintenance family goes over like LeVar Ball does. He's had issue with fumbles, and he can be careless with the ball at times. I hope he
These are the
spends a
biggest red
little more.
flags.
Yeah,
These
I
are
think
the biggest red flags. I mean,
I
you
think
never
so.
know. You never know how these guys are going to play until they hit the prime time. We've seen guys like Brock Purdy picked up the last pick of the draft and has made a Super Bowl and an NFC championship games in consecutive years. Caleb Williams, this is what concerns me. The nail polish, the pink phone case. Maybe I could let it slide. But if we've got lip gloss or some kind of male makeup going on, I don't know how good I feel as a Bears fan. Again, you just saw what happened to Justin Fields, a guy probably equally as talented or whatever. Whoever watches these games, they can tell you one way or the other. It's the pink nail polish. It's the pink lip gloss. This is what concerns me. So if you're going to be, this actually seems underpriced to me, but that's just me. For what people were paying for Justin Fields cards, you can see you can get one $10 with no bids down here. So I'm sure people are going to be, rushing to get that one there. Not a whole lot of market for Justin Fields stuff, but here we go. Pouring money into Caleb Williams. So, interesting thing that happened with Marvin Harrison going off the board with the Arizona Cardinals. Marvin Harrison hasn't signed like an NFLPA deal yet, so he can't appear in video games. His jersey can't be sold, and I'm assuming that also means his trading cards can't be made as well until that happens. Now, maybe he's planning on doing that at any moment and waiting till maybe he gets picked, but it is kind of rare that guys don't do that. And you get signed into a group licensing deal, which allows you to be put in the video game, which allows your jersey to be sold online, and which allows trading cards to be made. Marvin Harrison, for whatever reason, has not signed that. So if for whatever reason his cards get held up, the reason why. So,
wow,
very interesting situation.
I think
there.
that's bullish for Kyler Murray because I saw enough of Marvin Harrison in college. That guy's going to be a very, very solid pro. So obviously, with all these guys, it's about health. But that wide receiver position with Kyler Murray there in Arizona, that should be a very, very, very nice combination. But it is interesting that he has not signed that PA deal. Ryan, we've got other things to talk about. I'll keep checking on the weaknesses of our athletes that are being drafted tonight. Again, and I'm not really saying that these guys aren't worth buying and selling. Sometimes the hype, obviously, is better than reality. Because you look with Patrick Mahomes, has his cards really gone up over the last year? Not really. So oftentimes it's actually better. It's actually better to play the hype game rather than play the actual guaranteed stuff. I mean, yeah, over the last, it has gone up a little bit, but you got to minus selling fees, income taxes, all this type of stuff. You're down.
Look at 2 years.
2 years on Mahomes. He's down 39%. Where Caleb Williams cards could be up 39% over the next 4 months, and he might not even play. So it's play the hype game. The influencers here on YouTube, they'll certainly tell you how to do that. Ryan, what other topics do we have? We'll keep checking in on the NFL draft. I know you're on Mr. I think he's got to be up to 5 acres now because he has the deal now with eBay. I got to imagine maybe he owns part of the first and second hole of the golf course that he is on now. Maybe he charges, an extra greens fee to play those holes. Ken Golden's site is popping tonight. You do have a little bit of Caleb Williams action, but what are some of the other cards that you're looking at?
Tons of other cards, and welcome everybody. Phoenix, I see Phoenix Rising in the chat. I see Ferris Sterling. Christine, what's up? I think Christine might even call in tonight, so we await that. Bob Boozle, his wife, has once again allowed him to grace us with his presence in the chat. Philly Joe. And look, there are several David Snyders, and I want to clear something up, that there's only one real David Snyder. And I should have done this last week. I kept saying that David Snyder should call in. It's really David Jones, I think, was the guy stirring up controversy. David Snyder, there's a real David Snyder who is a big fan of the show. And I just want to address him that no ill will towards him. I got the wrong Dave, and here's the real Dave Snyder. Got the Rolex. You insure your watches. Personal insurance policy. So this is the real Dave Snyder. We appreciate him. Any imposters will be dealt with. But
Yes.
any and all Daves can call into the show. We got more buff, more muff in the show. Maybe I can say that on YouTube. Maybe I can't. A lot of things you can say on YouTube that you can't say around these parts where I am in Las Vegas. Will Greer, investor, boy, you're probably feeling good today. It's going to happen. The Super Bowl champion is here. So welcome, guys. If you would like to call into the show, feel free. We will take your phone calls, but we've got a lot to talk about. We've got, updates to the Kurtz card care drama. I don't know if this guy's fled to Antigua or some fucking third world country that doesn't have extradition to the United States, because it's been a bad couple weeks for Kurtz card care. It only got worse. But maybe we should start with, God, look at these horrendous Panini Prism Allen Iverson shoes that I saw at Las Vegas the other day. These are absolutely horrendous. $39.99 Panini Prism branded. I mean, man, you walk around those for a quarter mile, your feet are going to hurt. But this is a pretty serious story that, boy, we've been talking about Kurtz card care for the last couple weeks. This could be like even an even bigger problem. The United States Border Patrol in Rochester, New York, seized a shipment containing fake Victor Wembanyama cards, and I think there were like dozens of them. And the fake base cards of Wembanyama, and people were like, "What the heck?" Collect, our new favorite website that has a $4 million valuation, looked into it a little bit further, and they talked to one of the clowns at Panini. Guess who they talked to? This fucking idiot,
God,
Jason Howard. God, we could talk about him for a little while, but whatever. They said, we're working with them because authenticity is fucking our priority. Shut the fuck up. Now, the key thing in this article is you can kind of tell the difference between the fake ones and the real ones, apparently. The difference is that Wembanyama's photos on the fake one is really blurry. So you can't even see like the Nike swoosh logo. It's kind of blurry. It's like you're taking it with like a 2006 iPhone or something, and the picture and the printing quality should be a little worse. Now, will all the grading companies get fooled on these? Probably, absolutely. These will end up in every single grading company's holders, is my guess. PSA will probably be the least affected because they are somewhat competent at their jobs. I imagine some of these other grading companies, they're just going to grade these because they don't even barely look at your cards. So what do you think about fake Victor Webb? I mean, if somebody showed me this, now I'd have to see it in person. I'd have to see how blurry the photo is. But if somebody showed me this, I don't know if I'd be able to tell it apart. Isn't this almost as big a worry as Kurt's card care? Hey, you can gloss these cards up and turn a 6 into a 10. But what if you could just, in China or any kind of printer, just print any card you want, and maybe even modern cards, and get away with it, and it's passable, and there's no way to tell it apart? What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's absolutely a problem, and we see it in other industries as well. You got Jordans that are fake. Most people can tell. Most people in the sneaker industry can tell a fake pair of Jordans versus a non-fair pair of Jordans. I also saw sees there were like Louis Vuitton T-shirts with the tags and everything. And again, typically you can tell the difference if you are a connoisseur of a certain brand or a certain product. Certainly the price would be a dead giveaway as well. A $300 pair of Jordans that some guy selling at the flea market for 100, you know that those are definitely going to be fake. But yeah, the fact that now we have trading cards potentially being, or not potentially, but absolutely being faked, coming from the great country of China, that is a big worry. And again, like you said, Panini's not going to do anything about this. They really don't care if they actually, maybe had some other. I mean, this goes back to Upper Deck putting the hologram on their cards back in 1989. That was an authenticity measure. So now here we are. What is it? 30 years later, maybe even longer than that. We're 30 years later, and Panini doesn't have any really authenticated measures on these cards. It sounds like you can just print these out in China. Now, again, like you said, the photo isn't going to be as good. The print on the Spurs wasn't as bold. I saw a side-by-side comparison. But you will have some of these grading companies that will grade these things. They're going to grade these things. And there's a lot of eBay sellers that are going to grab these and they're going to list them. And they're probably going to sell, and people are going to be putting these into their collection. And so I tell you what, you got to look at your pictures of men even closer than ever. You've got Kurt's Card Care, and now you've got fake cards from China. And now we are joined by fan of the program, fan of the show, Christine.
Hey, gentlemen, how are you this evening?
Doing great. How are you?
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. My voice isn't quite back yet. I went a little nuts at Springsteen last Thursday. If I would have knew I could call in, I would have called you from the concert.
Oh, there we go. How was the Springsteen concert? How was Bruce sounding these days?
I was in the front row to the right side of the stage, and I'll say, with the exception of when I saw him in '88 for the first time, this was one for the books. It was phenomenal.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Not a lot of chatter, just song after song after song after. It was incredible. It was just, I was in another realm. It was amazing.
How did you get into watching us? Are you into cards? What are you buying? Are you buying and selling cards? Like, let everybody know, like, your journey in sports cards.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I started collecting when I was 5, so I've been collecting for 46 years. That makes me 31, if you do the math correctly.
Exactly.
But recently, I had an accident in my home, and I lost every sports card I ever collected. So I really am starting from the ground up. I took it hard, but just have to start over. Yeah, that
and so
hurt.
how are you starting over? Like, where are you starting? Like, are you modern cards? Are you dipping out into vintage card? Like, what's your strategy?
Vintage hockey, vintage baseball, vintage football. I'll say from 78 to 85.
And are you going to
maybe a little later cards? Excuse me, I'm sorry.
You're going to collect these cards? You're going to flip them? Like, what's your plan with these cards?
I plan to get my inventory up and go to a show and just try my luck there. Some I will keep. Some are sentimental. But I'm just trying to start over, and I sell a Macari and I do well on there. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I started following these guys. In 2020, I started collecting cards again, and I didn't realize other people were. And I was out of the game for a while. And I saw this guy on YouTube. I'm just going to say what I got to say. His name was Jeff Wilson. And on Macari, I made 16 stacks, quote unquote. I lost 6 stacks on his advice,
Hmm.
and
Wait
I
a
was
minute.
really Go ahead.
$16,000?
Yes.
$16,000 on Jeff Wilson's advice?
No, I made 16 on my own, lost 6 on his advice.
What was it about? What advice did you take from him that didn't work out?
Investing in the cards he said to invest in.
And when was this? Like 2020 or 2021 or when
I'm going to say
things were big?
2021 for sure. 2021, I took a beating. And then I invested the other 10 into my inventory, which was gone in the accident. So now I'm literally starting from the ground up. And I was so upset about it. I was telling other people who collect, like just locally, and nobody said anything. And I was fuming about it. So I called them and left them a message. I wish I would have recorded it.
You called
I
Jeff?
gave I gave my name, my address, what I look like, told them to come to my home. I wanted to talk to it face to face because I believe in that's how you should approach someone. And told them that it was illegal what he did, and that I called my state senator.
Wow.
And I lost a lot, and I was fuming. And then I just happened to see a heading that said something about Jeff Wilson being a crook, and that's how I started watching you guys. I just started reaching out recently because I was nervous to do it, but and that's how I became a fan of your show.
Wow. So you took some advice from Jeff Wilson,
Yes,
lost several $1,000s.
yes,
You ended up contacting your state senator. You even contacted
yes,
Jeff Wilson himself
yes.
and provided your out. Did you ever hear from Jeff Wilson? Did he ever
Never.
reach out to you? He never none of his representatives ever reached out to you.
No email, no text, nothing. I even posed as a business who wanted him to come there. He still wouldn't reach out.
Are you still trying to recover financially from that, or are you fully back? And obviously you were at a Springsteen concert.
There's no recovering from that now. There's no recovering because I
Wow.
lost 46 years worth of cards.
Wow.
So there's really no recovering from that. There's just going forward and doing the best you can.
What would you say to Jeff, right? If maybe he's watching, what would you say to Jeff if you could talk to him?
Am I allowed to say what I want on here?
Yeah,
Of course, yeah.
Please.
You just let it go. Yeah, we just let it go.
First, I slap him in the face with a flip flop right at a show on camera, and I call him a bitch. I tell him that what he did was illegal, and if he had any balls, he would apologize for it, and at least reach out to people who have the balls to call him. And there's a saying, "Balls," said the queen. "If I had him, I'd be king." So I'm very upset about it, and I would give him peace in my mind. He doesn't scare me. His lackeys don't scare me. I don't care if people make fun of the way I look or the way I don't care about any of that. I'm 51. I'm too old for that shit.
31,
But I would.
31.
Yes, that's right. Sorry, mine's 20. My arithmetic's a little crazy because I'm getting worked up.
Mhm.
I would tell him exactly how I felt, but I want to slap him with a flip flop on camera at a card show. I'll slap the shit out of anybody who comes near me too, because I think what's going on is terrible. You took advantage of someone who thought you knew what you were talking about. And when I lost the 6, I was like, he's calling his friends. They're buying all these cards and they're dumping them. No way can a $500 card go to $4 the next week unless that's what was happening. I have a lot of street smarts and book smarts, and it did take me long to figure. I mean, it took 6,000 to figure it out, but I can admit when I made a mistake, and I made a mistake. I trusted the wrong person because I just didn't know what I didn't know, and now I do, and I want other people to be aware, buyer beware. He was lying by omission. He failed to say he doesn't know a fucking thing about fucking sports cards. Should have had that in his warning and his description. So these modern cards are paid 25,000. I mean, just you could keep them. Half these, I'll say, 3 guys from this class may be good. Maybe in the next 5 year of classes, there's a Hall of Famer. It's hard to say. I don't speculate. I buy Hall of Famers and I buy vintage because it can't go down. They're already in the Hall of Fame. Gretzky's the greatest. I mean, to me, that's a safer investment than modern. I have no use for modern cards because number one, too expensive. If I'm going to spend that money, I'll just buy particular cards. And I lost all my 2015-16 Upper Deck Young Guns cards. They're all gone. McDavid's gone.
How do you
Austin Matthews.
how do you normally buy these cards? Are you buying them at auction? Are you buying packs? Are you buying how do you acquire some of the vintage cards that you're buying today?
I do a lot of research, and I'll scour the internet for hours to see what to look for to tell a real from a fake. And then sometimes I'll do an auction. Sometimes I'll build rapport with the person and buy lots and keep buying if the cards come as the way they're titled. Oh, shout out to people on eBay. Pay attention to this. When you put in your description near mint, mint, or better, look at the card before you send it out. Put it in the light. See how the surface is. See how the corners are. I'm sick of that. I'm buying crap and I got to keep returning it. Pay attention to what you're doing. Show some pride in yourself. Sorry about that.
Are you grading these? Are you taking these cards and then going to grade them, or are you just taking them and selling them?
Well, the ones I was going to grade got destroyed. So if I can't afford like an expensive hockey set, I'll buy the stickers and I'll get those graded. Like I have like 15 Luke Robitaille rookie stickers. I just have Ronick. I got like 20 rookies in the Panini 90-91 stickers. Some cards I buy, I pick them out. Some I'll get graded, see what the grade is, and keep them. Or some I'll sell them, put them on Macari, put them up for auction, and just go from there. I go to shows. I don't care for them, but I do go. Excuse me, gentlemen.
What shows are you going to? What show are you going to set up at when you take your inventory and you're going to try to sell? What show are you going to go to?
Well, I live in Niagara Falls, New York. So Western New York mostly has shows in Buffalo. And they have a few frequently every month, but I need a knee replacement. So I'm going through the steps to get that done at the moment. Plus I have to build my inventory up. I don't want to go there with like 10 cards. But
sure.
I followed your advice about was it Malibu sports cards? What they do with the dollar cards and the $5 cards?
Burbank.
Was that the
Burbank?
Burbank. Thank you. And I started following that advice from you guys. So I started buying lots. I started putting them in order, write my inventory down, and I'll pick one out. I just can't do it right now. I don't have enough to go.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Sorry if I'm being a downer.
No, we're the channel of downers for the sports card world. I mean, the sports card, like you said, you gave a perfect example that Jeff Wilson hyped this industry, and you lost $6,000. So
yes,
to
I
the
did.
tune of $6,000 for Jeff Wilson. But we really appreciate you calling in. Anything else you want to say to the sports card world? Anything else you want to say to Jeff? What anything else you want to say to the Legion?
It's pretty low class. when you throw money and cards in people's faces when your wife earned it and you didn't. I believe in being an independent woman and going out on my own and doing what I need to, not depending on others. And I think that's low class, if you want my honest opinion about it. And I'm very upset about it, to say the least.
Well, we appreciate the honesty, and anything you need help with in your collecting journey, you know how to get a hold of us. I've been in Vegas all week, so sometimes
Nice.
my response time is a little lacking, but
Oh, hold
please.
on. Hold on.
Oh,
That
hold on.
reminds me of something. I have a bone to pick with these guys, okay?
Please.
2 weeks ago, invites were going out left and right about when you sell and come to Vegas and you're naming people. I didn't get named once. I didn't get invited to any parties, to any special part, nothing. I got invited to nothing. Everybody got invited but me.
You will always be on the Sports Card Radio A list. Like, you can just walk right up to the front. I mean, that's a given in the sports card world. If you are female, you can just walk right up to the front of the line and just get ushered right in. Yeah, no need to wait in line. No need to see if your name's on a list. It's already on the list. That's forever in the history of Sports Card Radio. So, and now you've popped your cherry on the call-ins, and you talk shit on Jeff Wilson, and so we sincerely appreciate it.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I was so nervous to come on here. I've never done this before, so you gave me the encouragement and the positivity that I could do anything. So I can do this. I just need to work at it and just do my best. Thank you so much for everything, gentlemen. I truly am grateful and appreciative of everything you've done for me. I really, truly am. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
That really means a lot. That really means a lot. Christine, thank you so much. Hit us up, especially about the low end cards, because I know Colin's been working on that, and so we can give you some tips there. And
okay, thank you. I really appreciate that. Here's something. How do I hang up?
I'll get you. Thanks, Christine.
For coming on. Appreciate it. Okay, I slap Jeff Wilson with a flip flop. That's going to make it to the Clips channel.
How many views would that get?
Yeah,
how many views would that get?
Yeah, the thumbnail is going to be critical on that one. We're going to have to get a flip flop in Jeff Wilson's face and a little bit of that. And that's going to be strong. That's going to be very, very strong. Ryan, second pick in the NFL draft was Mr. Jaden Daniels. And again, all the pumpers are going to tell you everything great about Jaden Daniels, but according to my sources, he lacks special arm talent. He doesn't throw with anticipation. That's not going to work out in the NFL. Has to see receivers come open before pulling the trigger. What team did he go to? Oh, the Commanders? Yeah, they probably don't have a lot of guys that are going to be able to come open either way. And he will miss some open receivers at time and has to learn to slide to avoid injury. So Jaden Daniels, like Caleb Williams, has some weaknesses. And tell you what, you probably have a lot of those weaknesses that'll be showing through when these guys actually hit the field. That was Christine. I was just shocked. She lost $6,000 with Jeff Wilson. Everybody in the chat was asking how. Guys, all you have to do is watch Jeff Wilson's early videos. We play enough of the clips on our videos, but he's deleted a ton of those videos. Okay. Whereas everybody in this industry has to go back and delete their old videos. Sports Card Radio, we can go back to our old videos and bring them out and put them on the Clips channel, and they sound even better. Next week, I'm going to bring a clip where we talked like literally a week after Topps was acquired. We told you exactly what Michael Rubin was going to do. We said, he's going to roll up this industry. He's going to get rid of distributors. He's going to get rid of the middleman. He's going to sign all these guys to exclusives. He's going to buy an auction house. He's probably going to buy a grading company. He's going to take over this whole industry. And how many people back then, Ryan, were like, no, 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 no. Jeff Wilson's got 25,000 views on his video. Man, I listen to Jeff every week. Cards just keep going up. They're a new asset class. They're the new greatest thing. Now Jeff is getting on the couch talking to PSA president Ryan something about card cleaning, new slabs, AI grading, and more. My guess, I didn't get to watch this. I don't have 56 minutes to burn on something like this, but my guess, it was 56 minutes of hot air. But maybe you watched it, Ryan. Did you watch the PSA interview with Mr. Jeff Wilson on his show?
Thank God for being able to listen things at like 1.75 speed. So, and you can get things through quicker. But yeah, we do probably have some news to talk about with in regards to PSA and Kurt's card care and card cleaning and what they accept and what they don't. I think that yeah, he certainly made some news there, and we can get into it. I think there's value in, like you said, getting these people on the record at least with things. This is not something that frankly happened 10 or 15 years ago. So that's a nice change actually in the hobby, is that week to week, you can kind of get at least people on the record or canned statements from guys. But I am concerned about trying to win some cards tonight.
Trying to
This
win a Victor
Wembanyama,
Wembanyama. Okay.
this thing sold well, yeah, because I mean, good Lord, people still pay for Luka Doncic? Come on, he's underpriced. At least wanted to have this up by comparison.
Wow.
Ronaldo for 1,000. I'm outbid, but whatever. A black label. Is this Joe Clemens card?
Probably.
This is a card that be hard to be worth less than this. Michael Jordan. It's a cracked case. Man, I wish they would like put like cracked case in the title so that this would sell for like less than it should. I believe it sold at PWCC maybe about a year ago for about $3,000. So I don't know. I'm probably in that ballpark. Bronny James, Black Shimmer.
Is he the next, like, as we move into the NBA draft? I know there's going to be some top picks in the NBA.
No.
I saw a fair amount, but is Bronny going to be the
No.
next guy that everybody hype? I mean, his card's
Well,
selling for 1,000.
he's not in the draft. He's not in the draft. First of all, he's not very good.
I thought he declared. I thought he declared for the draft.
Like he declared for the transfer portal. I think he can go to the combine.
I see. It's not official.
Right. I don't know. I don't see it with him when I watch him play basketball. But I just don't see it. Now, if he wants to come out and the Lakers take him, do it. I'll start. If his dad can get him on the Lakers, buddy, you do that, because I don't know if he gets to the league otherwise. He's not very good. These Kobe cards are nice, and so I have a price in mind for those. I was thinking, I'm still in Vegas, and boy, the camera should have been around me the last couple days. Talk about entertainment. I was like, yeah, boy, get this OJ Simpson card and see if it still works around here, boy. See if you could run up OJ Simpson credit. So lots of interesting things on the by the way, our boy C Blez. I don't follow him on Instagram, but apparently he's kind of was he like hard pivoted to sports betting?
Yeah, he's all up in the pits, baby.
Can I tell you
is in the pits?
Can I tell you my my betting record over the last 4 days?
Please.
Mostly betting baseball. I've done really poor at basketball. One night I was 0-4 on basketball. 7-4 the first night, 10-7 the second night, 11-7 the third night, and then today actually I got to check the basketball game, but I'm 8-8. So with the juice, I'm probably going to lose. Even if I won that ninth bet. So, but in total, we're probably talking about maybe a little over 60% winner, which maybe doesn't seem that impressive, but that's actually what you're trying to do. That's what you're trying to do over the stretch of time. I hit a couple parlays, 2 for 2 on the parlays, Oakland plus 200 and the San Francisco Giants on, what was that? Wednesday or Thursday, and then Dodgers Giants on a 2-leg parlay again. Baseball's my sport, baby. I could sit there and bet baseball all day. How the hell do we live in a liberal state and you can't? I couldn't just sit around and donk off sports betting. But what a shame. I did not see Blaz at the sports book, but I just wanted to give a shout out. That's 7-4, 10-7, 7-4, 10-7, 11-7, and then I'm 8-8, and then I got one more bet. So
wow,
not horrible, not horrible. Would you like to first of all, if you would like to call into the show and talk about Jeff Wilson, talk about your team's recent draft picks, talk about any cards that you're buying and selling, talk about anything you'd like. Jeff Wilson's got a new butt buddy. Michael Penix Jr. all of a sudden is going to be the new Desmond Ridder.
Well, I tell you what, let's talk about the third pick of the NFL draft. Drake May going to be compared to Tom Brady almost immediately. I do see his strength as being very accurate. So he's going to be a very accurate passer, but they say he has a good skill set, but not elite. Probably very similar to Tom Brady's scouting report when he came out. Says his footwork has to get better, and he has a weakness in identifying blitzes. So that is the scouting report on Mr. Drake May, who will be Tom Brady 2.0 here very, very, very soon.
I don't know. Yeah, people are going to be spending a lot of money on these quarterbacks. So that'll be very interesting. I love the Marvin Harrison Jr. pick. It'd be hard for him not to be a good player.
Yeah, I have his weaknesses only not always as physically dominant as he could be versus corners. My guess is he'll learn that. He'll get that weight room. He'll get stronger. In the NFL, you can't touch the guy anyways. His strength, to me, that reminds me of like Larry Fitzgerald pick. Remember when Arizona, and I listened to an interview with Larry Fitzgerald on the way to Vegas, actually. He was on like Alex Rodriguez's podcast or whatever. It was a really interesting interview. They didn't talk about football a lot. Talk about more about like business and investing. But I remember when Arizona drafted Larry Fitzgerald, and it was like everybody knew that was like a home run. And that was like easy peasy type of pick. And this Marvin Harrison Jr. wouldn't surprise me if we're still talking about this guy 10 years later. And whether or not he's a Hall of Famer, I don't know. But I think he certainly could end up like AJ Green, who had a great career. Julio Jones had a great career. Number of wide receivers. Andre Johnson had a great career. Many, many, many other receivers. I certainly could see him in that camp, given the way the league has gone defensively, passing. Seems like a great pick. And obviously Kyler Murray is a capable quarterback as well. So they
have Desmond Ridder in Arizona too. So hopefully Jeff held on to his cards.
I hope he did. Oh, how's I know that speaking of Jeff Wilson, speaking of holding on to cards, we were listening to, I think, to a podcast of his, and he said he was holding on to the Holliday, Jackson Holliday of the Baltimore Orioles. And we thought it was interesting. One of Jeff Wilson's strategies, obviously with his Cards HQ, he's buying cards all the time. And he's like a lot of these other guys out there, and we can have a discussion about this as well, about how the comps have gone to 80%. If you show up at these card shows, and I've seen people talk about over the last couple of weeks, like, oh, I set up at a card show and somebody came and offered something for the whole table. Like Ryan and I have been doing that for years. We show up at a table, find the guy that wants to buy, and you just sell your whole table. In fact, every single card show that we go to, we sell the entire table. Now, it actually has gotten easier and easier as time has gone on, particularly if you have the right inventory. And the comp level has gone from 70% to 80%. Now I'm seeing 90%. I saw a picture at a card show. I wasn't there, but I saw a picture, 100% comp. Somebody willing to pay 100% comp. Yeah.
Really?
It was like he was 70 to 80, I think, on his banner, but he put 100% over the 80. So he's willing to go up to 100% on the comp. And then I think it was Dan the Card Man did a video. Forgive me if I'm not getting this right, but I think Dan the Card Man did a video where there was a job posting from somebody like a repacker that is willing to pay somebody like $100,000 a year. You got to buy, I think, like $50,000 of sports cards a week at 80% comp. So like this is I think under like percolating underneath the hobby. This is a really big story. How long can these repacks remain hot? Because the more they remain hot, that 80% basically just puts a floor underneath every single card you pull. Every single card you pull has got 80%. And I think if you just wait a little bit, you get that 100% comp, 110% comp, 6-10 months, let that comp roll over. And then all of a sudden you get a higher comp. And so underneath the hobby right now, you have people paying, and we see it on Golden. Like this week, as I'm bidding on Golden, I'm like pricing out some cards, and I'm like, this card is already like 10 hours before the auction's ending. This card's already a full price. Mm-hmm. And there's some stuff going over. There was like a Jerry West autograph already over full price. Whereas when we were sitting here a year and a half ago, you were getting stuff like 30, 40 off. Like of comp. Now with the repackers, you're getting 80% comp. So I thought Jeff Wilson's strategy as it related to Jackson Holliday inventory. So he's been acquiring inventory and he's been acquiring Jackson Holidays over that time. His idea was set that aside, set the Jackson Holliday inventory aside and wait until he gets called up. That to me is a very, very amateur move. That's what everybody does. Everybody's waiting, Ryan, for Luka Doncic to win a title. And everybody's going to be like, oh, we won a title. And he says, we brought up Patrick Mahomes' price chart earlier. Everybody waited for Pat to win his like 19th Super Bowl or however many he's got. He's got the 3 now or 2 or whatever it is. Over the last 2 years, his cards are down 39%. The minute Luka Doncic wins a title, his cards are going to go down 40% because everybody who's been holding them are going to sell. And the same thing is true with Jackson Holliday. There's been people that have been prospecting this guy from day one. And there's Luka's chart over the last 2 years. Man, Ryan, if we brought up our old podcast where we were destroying this guy when everybody was on their both knees with knee pads, sucking his 4-incher out of shape, man. So anyways, Jackson Holliday inventory at Cards HQ actually gets set aside, and the amateur moves is we bring it out when he makes his debut. I think you said on last week's show or maybe 2 weeks ago that he started, like a lot of young players, started out a little rough. You follow baseball a little closer than I do. I've been tuning into the Giants game, but I try to watch it on a delay and turn a 2-hour baseball game into 40 minutes. Give us an update on Jackson Holliday and give us an update. What do you think about the strategy, Jeff Wilson? He's in the business of buying and selling trading cards, but he's also playing prospector at the same time. Is that a little bit dangerous, or do you think that's something that could pay off?
Okay, 2 questions there. First, Jackson Holliday, he's batting .059 in 34 at-bats. I mean, 18 strikeouts, really struggling. 20 years old, though, and I think there was a need at second base for the Baltimore Orioles, which is actually a new position. So you're really asking a lot defensively for this guy. He's probably barely ever played second base. Now he's playing second base in the major leagues. So that in itself will probably make him lose sleep at night. And then you start the season, or then you start your kind of career, much heralded career in a 2 for 34 kind of spell with no homers, no nothing. I don't know. I actually still think he's going to be good. I mean, the lineage is there. I mean, it looks like he was taking something from Barry Bonds' cabinet the day he was born. I mean, this kid looks like he's 12 years old, but he's got, he's jacked on the juice. So I would be patient with him. Doesn't look like his cards have tanked. I mean, an autograph version of this card sold for $5,000, I think about 6 to 8 months ago. So, and here's the non-autograph version that's at $3,600 with 35 minutes left. Now, I haven't looked at his other stuff and like really priced it out. It certainly hasn't jumped. What your second question about prospecting, buying and holding?
Yeah, I mean,
I think
I just thought that was interesting.
Well, with Jeff Wilson, I mean, he maybe is in a little different position than most people because he's got a 14,000 square foot shop. So the way he kind of handles his inventory might be a little different. I think if you're just out there having fun, go through and buy several. I probably would. One thing I would not do, and I don't like telling people what they should and shouldn't do. I think what I would not do is put all your money into one guy, because look what happened to Wander Franco. Look what happened even more recently. Somebody like Julio Rodriguez, who just hit his first home run of the season, and is a decent player, bats 280, 25, 30 home runs, good speed, decent defense, good player, but not a transcendent player, a Mike Trout, an Ohtani, that type of player. So I would not, at least I would not put my money into a young player. Now, if you want to put all your money into Mickey Mantle, God bless you, whatever the hell you want. Ted Williams, Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr., you do whatever the heck you want. But when we start talking about guys who are 20 years old and who have literally done nothing except, get their diapers changed, I wouldn't put all your money into it. But if you want to play the prospect game, and if you want to put all your money into prospects, just get to know baseball a little bit, learn when the good times to buy and sell are. I don't know if it's necessarily all the time at call up. I think it's when there's the most hype building and surrounding these guys. That's when, to sell these cards, and maybe you buy them back later on in their career. But if you always just want to play the hype game and the prospect game, I think that's there for you now more than ever, because these cards are worth now so much more than they ever were. I mean, it made news that the Steven Strasburg Superfractor sold for $10,000. I mean, that was like the biggest thing in the hobby. There would have been 20 videos on that back in 2010. And now here we are 15 years later. People don't even blink an eye at $3,600. Don't even blink an eye at that for a 20-year-old kid who started 2 for 35. So I would be patient with this guy. I have not seen him play, so I can't really evaluate him. But, I mean, his dad was a player. He looks like he's been on the sauce since he's 2 years old. I would just be patient. He's playing a brand new position defensively, which I don't think gets talked about enough, how difficult that is at 20 years old, just to be in the big leagues and then to be playing a position you never played. I mean, they're really kind of putting this guy in a tough spot, but challenging him to an extent. His stats in the minor leagues are amazing. I mean, you almost had to call him up because they were that good. So it wouldn't shock me if he turns it around and starts hitting home runs. Who's playing good for the Orioles lately is our boy Colton Cowser. So,
do you got any of those left?
I sent it to Tim because I figured, he needs some dividends for the 4.2 equity that he owns in Sports Card Radio. So, long-winded answer there, but I love actually the prospect game. I just would not put it all into one guy. I doubt that's what Jeff Wilson's doing. I doubt that what most people do, but it's certainly not unheard of. I mean, there were people who probably put 80 to 90% of their bankroll in Wander Franco. And now they're literally probably out here on the street, begging for change in Vegas.
Hey, look, if you put 80, 90% of your bankroll in Pat Holmes, you're down 40% before selling fees, income taxes, anything else, supplies. Put 80% of your bankroll in Luka, you're down 60% over the past 2 years. So I could totally see you didn't just have to tune into Jeff Wilson and get smoked in this hobby. A lot of these guys led you astray and said, wait for the playoffs, wait for the generational talent to kick in, wait for this, wait for that. How long are we going to have to wait on a lot of these guys? At least the NFL, we actually don't have to wait very long. Honestly, this time next year, we'll know who's a man on this list and who's not. And that's what's the exciting part about the NFL is. You'll know this time next year if Caleb Williams is either going to be a guy like Joe Burrow or Josh Allen or Pat Mahomes or Lamar Jackson, or if he's one of these scrubs that get traded 2 years after they get drafted. You'll know right away. A lot of it has to do with the money these guys make. It used to be you got picked at the top of the draft. You didn't make as much money, and so they could give you a little bit longer leash. Now, man, Caleb Williams is going to be making some pretty decent money at the top. Not quarterback, not Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow money, but he's going to be making some pretty good money, so he's got to produce. J.J. McCarthy going 10th after
we
Penix.
have
I think
five
that's a little bit of a
quarterbacks.
surprise.
5 quarterbacks in the top 11.
Sure.
My
Wow.
goodness. What a year for football cards and breaks. Group breakers should just be popping champagne tonight because you guys are going to be able to sell the dream. Here are 5 teams: the Vikings, the Falcons, even the Cardinal spot, the Patriots spot. God, Drake May, they're going to be hyping Drake May like we have
Oh my
never
God.
seen.
Oh my
The
God.
Commanders, the Bears, obviously are going to be a very expensive break. I mean, group breakers today are just should be absolutely ecstatic. And we're not even
I tell you what,
5 quarterbacks in top 11.
let's go to that Atlanta Falcons pick. It looks like they actually surprised a lot of experts by going with Penix at the 8th pick. Many people thought McCarthy would get drafted over him. The scouting report on Penix, you're not going to hear this from Jeff Wilson. He's going to tell you he's 4 times better investment than every other quarterback in the league combined. But his weaknesses are he has inconsistent accuracy. He will have passes with poor ball placement, can struggle to throw the ball well in the face of a rush. He has poor footwork. His feet need development. He misses some easy passes. Some NFL coaches don't like left-handed quarterbacks. He has field vision problems. Either doesn't read coverages or predetermines a lot of throws. Must improve working through progressions. He has a history of injuries, multiple shoulder injuries, and he has multiple ACL tears. Ryan, this is like having a girl that is completely beat up, broke, has nothing going for her, but you're like, well, I was going to say something that was really, really bad, but her nose is cute. Her nose is cute. So yeah, it looks like to me the weaknesses on Penix are a mile long, but good thing he has probably a year or 2 to work on them, and that has worked in the NFL. You looked at Jordan Love in Green Bay. He had a year or 2 to work on his stuff, and he looked great. He looked great in the playoffs. Even like Brock Purdy didn't have a whole year, but he had some times. He had several weeks to kind of get his feet under him, boom, and then hit the ground running in the NFL. And so sometimes maybe not coming in and being the man and having that pressure might actually be
that helps you sell that helps you sell cards too, because it's just hype. It's all, oh God, wait till they put in Penix. Wait till Cousins gets hurt and they put in Penix. Right. Or who's on the Vikings? I don't know who the starter on the Vikings, if they sign anybody, but it would be nice if a lot of these guys didn't get thrown into the fire. Honestly, I mean, that is the norm nowadays. And like you say, the money they're making, you kind of got to throw them in there. Certainly, the 3 guys at the top of the draft, they're going to be thrown in there right away. And like you said, we're going to know right away if they're good or not. So very, very interesting developments in the sports card world. So we've got 26 minutes until extended bidding, and I'm still high bid on Wembanyama. I'm treating this like Vegas tonight. We're throwing some money around on some cards.
Wow.
This Mike Trout, Joe Clemens is black labeled Mike Trout. I just think long-term superfractors, like a superfractor Mike Trout, is going to be worth thousands of dollars, period. Anything. Cracked case Michael Jordan, we're still high bid. This has a cracked case, guys, so you can stop bidding on it. And if you try to cross it over, it has 8.5 edges. PSA is going to be like, nah, fuck y'all, this is an 8.
And Nat Turner probably has the other one, and so he's going to want to
the other 9. He probably has the other 9.
Right.
So don't bid on this. Bronny James.
Oh my God.
Black shimmer. There's something to be said about buying his car. If the Lakers pick him, I mean, my Lord, these Kobe cards, I'll definitely take them at these prices. OJ Simpson, if this had some money on it, boy, this would be worth it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So we're keeping an eye on that. We've got 25 minutes. Did we want to talk about the Juice Man?
Oh my God.
Kurt's
card got more Kurt's card care news?
Yeah, we've got actually updates to galore to this.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah, we better. Well, before you do that, I saw that the Minnesota Vikings selected J.J. McCarthy. He was projected as high as 4th in some of the drafts I've been seeing. His weaknesses are that he lacks passing instincts. His field vision needs improvement. He can be late throwing down the middle, leading to incompletions. He can be reckless, careless. That's Jeff Wilson, but with J.J.
That was me
McCarthy, it's
last
with the
night.
ball. Reckless and careless. Okay.
Oh boy.
He has poor decision making. That's probably you as well.
That was me
with
last night.
women
And
with women
and today.
and powder, and
Mhm.
needs development. Would you say the girl
Me
that
last
you
night.
were with? Would you say the girl you were with? I gotta be careful how I say this. Has just gotten past her development age. Let's just say that.
I would say she would score very highly on a 1 to 10 scale of PSA. But we have breaking news into the program. We have a 6th quarterback, third.
Oh my
6th
God.
quarterback. God, the group breakers right now, guys.
Oh my
if
God.
you were a group breaker and you want to call into the show, and I mean, guys, I'm going to drop a link in the stream, and there better be champagne popped. You guys better be at like the Vegas nightclub down the street or whatever, because we have a 6th quarterback taken in the top 12. Bo Nix of Oregon. God, isn't he like a 5th-year senior? The Denver Broncos spot just went up. I mean, who are the Raiders are going to pick a quarterback now? So we got 6 quarterbacks in the top 12. I mean, the football cards just got 3x more expensive than they are.
Right.
They already are.
Yeah. Like there's Roman to fix some things. This is like Roman for group breakers because they see this and they know they're going to be able to charge $200, $300, $400 a spot for some of this stuff. And it is going to fly off the shelves. Guys are going to fall over themselves to buy these guys. With Bo Nix, who just got drafted by the Denver Broncos, his weaknesses are he does not have special arm talent. He's a little undersized and he lacks elite traits. So that's probably going to come back to bite the old Denver Broncos, but I guess it could be better than their previous quarterback situation. I saw a few games with Russell Wilson. Definitely didn't go very well. Yeah, the Raiders were projected to pick Penix, who again went ahead of Nix and McCarthy. Kind of a surprise pick by the Atlanta Falcons, but maybe they see the upside potential. He gets to sit behind. I believe they signed Kirk Cousins to a multi-$100 million deal, which is also maybe a little questionable as well. Yeah, Ryan, hey, let's get to the juice. We got to get on that juice and that sauce. We got to milk this as much as we can. We heard our boy, what's his name? Kurt. He's making a lot of money, and we're going to be over here making a lot of money too. We're going to have this Cardboard Life's going to be posting the memes. We're going to be posting the videos, getting that ad money flowing in. I posted, I think, 2 videos as it pertains to Kurt's card care. And I probably made $30 or $40. So, hey, you know what I mean? Like that's like a bottle of juice. And so maybe I'll have to go out there and do that. So here we go. Kurt's card care. What's the latest on Mr. Juicer?
Well, yeah, we have updates from last week because you remember when we talked about that there was a submission with a 1953 Topps Jackie Robinson that had gotten deactivated because Kurt flexed it on his Instagram. He was soaking it in the Kurt's juice. Presumably PSA may have saw that and they deactivated not only the 53 Topps Jackie Robinson, but the entire submission. And Tiffany's Cards, if you go to his Twitter handle and probably his Instagram, he'll actually show you pictures of the other cards. And these were like prime vintage cards worth thousands of dollars. And so somebody just wasted probably literally thousands of dollars submitting cards to PSA that are now deactivated. And it's possible that their account also went poof. Well, you remember we talked about this on last week's show, and there has been a lot of drama. Here's the Jackie Robinson that Kurt soaked. It previously had like kind of like a tape stain at the top. Kurt put it in his magic little juice, sent it over to PSA, and it got a 2.5. Kurt flexed it on his Instagram channel, and PSA again decertified all the things. But what happened is that an article was written again on our favorite website that is worth at least $4 million. Collect. We'll talk about another website here in a little bit that got $8 million. So, God, I'm feeling really good. No wonder I went crazy this weekend. But anyways, yeah, no wonder I was making bad decisions all weekend. I got a $20 million website. I can just, walk up to the MGM cage and just be like, I'm Sports Card Radio. Anyways, our favorite website, Collect, came out with they wrote an article about the situation, and they have a statement from Mr. Kurtz Card Care himself before he fled to Antigua. And he said, he has nothing to hide. My videos are uncut. I'm showing people what I've been doing for my cards for 20 years, and the marketplace is clearly spoken. I have more than 20,000 customers using my product. It's the 5 or 6 trolls that scream the loudest that give me issues. Kurtz Card Care says he laughs at people who paint him as a nefarious character in the industry. I do this because I love it, he says. And here are people treating me like I'm some kind of card trimmer. There's a lot of other fuckery going on. So we got that update from Kurt, but then we weren't done there. We did get an update from hobby hero Jeff Wilson when he did interview PSA president Ryan Hoge. Don't know if I'm saying his name right. But anyways, they did sit down to an interview, and PSA says, look, they were asked directly about the juice and Kurt's Card Care. And he's like, look, we can't detect what it is. We don't know what it is. If you use car wax, if you use Kurt's juice on these cards and there are scratches and you are filling them in, and then whether it's 1 year, 10 years, 20, 40 years later, these things come back, PSA has a guarantee for the grade. So if they grade something at PSA 10 and then years later a stain comes up, or there's juice on the card, or the scratches come back, PSA has to now reimburse the person who bought that card. Like if it's an 8, they have to fill in the gap. And they write these checks probably quite more often than people think, that PSA makes a mistake. Maybe they grade a fake card, and now they have to write a check for that particular card because it's fake and it's sold. So PSA has to stand behind the grades that they give. And so if you're rubbing juice all over these cards, they just don't feel comfortable grading those cards and stamping it with the PSA guarantee. He explained that in the interview. He also said they're working on better ways to detect the Kurtz juice, whether by smell, whether by sight, or whether by some other method. So stay tuned for that. He said that PSA and SGC, remember they are the same company now, are sharing details on people who submit altered cards. Again, a lot of people are going to have their accounts deleted, banned. A lot of people, when somebody gets banned from PSA, they usually don't run to social media or Instagram to flex that. It's probably a bad day for them. They're now actually trying to figure out which group submitter they're now going to use so that they can submit cards to PSA, or to use their grandma's address and her name to get a new PSA account. Because it probably happens quite often that these guys get caught, these scammers get caught, and your whole account goes poof. And maybe a lot of your cards get deactivated. Kind of the untold truth to some of these cleaning. Now, hey, if you want to sit around and clean your cards, go right ahead. But PSA has very explicitly told you, and you could go watch Jeff Wilson's interview, that they don't want to grade these types of cards. And you could argue with that. You could disagree with that. That is fine. But that is the decision from PSA. And so that is kind of the update. We got an article. We got an even more statement and kind of clarification from PSA that they're going to look to detect this in the future. They're looking to ban accounts. And they don't accept cards that knowingly have the juice on it. So stop flexing your little tutorial videos on Instagram or YouTube if you intend to send those cards to PSA. So what do you think about the updates to the situation as it pertains to Mr. Kurtz Card Care, who I believe is still in the country? We don't know. We haven't received full word on this, but supposedly he has not fled to a third world country as of yet.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, if he would lay low a little bit more and wouldn't flex these cards so much, PSA would have an even harder time to detect. They only detect it when he flexes it on his account. And so he should end these little live streams. He should end the posting and just go back to the dark corner of the internet. And then his customers actually be a little more happy with him. Could you imagine, Ryan, if a video surfaces of him or of the customer working on that Wembanyama Black 101? What's going to happen to the certification at PSA if a video of that card being worked on ends up surfacing like the Jackie Robinson? It's not going to be like, oh, Kurt's just out here for fun. That wouldn't be fun. I bet the person that owned this Jackie Robinson wasn't having fun. They didn't have fun when they saw this card get decertified. So it's all fun and games until you get your account and your cards decertified. And PSA, like you said, also has this guarantee that they've got to protect. When they were a public company, you actually could see how much money they were setting aside for this type of thing. And you actually could see quarter to quarter how much would drain off. And we're talking millions of dollars. And this is back when sports cards weren't nearly as popular or nearly as valuable. And on top of that, we talked about it last week. And I know I had my Twitter, I couldn't even check Twitter because like every 2 seconds, one of these guys that is confused about their gender, but really cares about soaking and cleaning their cards, they're getting in my mentions and being like, what's wrong with this? It's not altering. It's like spilling your lunch on the Mona Lisa. Of course they would clean it. Okay, I roll times 5. But these guys that are still confused about what gender they are, what pronouns that they need to use, PSA needs to protect their business. If all of us could buy a solution or some wax to turn our cards from 7 and 8s to 9s into 10s, what reason do we need PSA? The reason why people go with PSA, particularly as it pertains to modern cards, but it applies to pretty much all cards. People go to PSA in the numbers that they're going, right? Okay, we've been in this business a long time. We remember PSA as a much smaller company. But the number of cards that PSA is grading today is all predicated on someone bought that card and they're trying to get a 10 on it so they can get a 10 price. What happens when every card's a 10? When every card's a 10, it'd be like walking around Las Vegas, Ryan, and every girl is a 10. When you walk around Vegas and every girl is a 10, would it really matter? Your pickup lines, what you smelled like, what shape you were in, how much money you had, where you were staying, what car you drove, what kind of drugs you might have on you. No, it wouldn't matter. Wouldn't matter. If every girl was a 10, it wouldn't matter. It'd all be the same. And that's where we're moving, particularly as it pertains to modern sports cards, but maybe with this vintage stuff as well. But especially modern cards. And it could not be every card, but it could be like 90% of cards, 95% of cards that come out of packs. Instead of being 7s and 8s every once in a while and the occasional 10, now almost every single one's a 10 because you can rub some juice on it and some wax. And as long as it's not like offensively off-centered, it's a 10 because you can rub the dimples out, you can smooth the edges, you can get the scratches out of it, and it's a 10. Are you going to get 10 prices anymore? Are you really incentivized to send your card into PSA? When every Victor Wembanyama grades 10? Are we really that excited when we see a 10? PSA is trying to protect that. They're trying to protect that aspect of their business. That cards come in, some are 7s, some are 8s, some are 9s, and a few are 10s. But if we continue to alter and clean our cards and they're all 10s, and I've seen the arguments, well, I bought the card out of a pack. Shouldn't it come as a pristine 10? That's like saying, oh, if I have a baby, shouldn't the baby be perfect and grow to be 6'4" and be in the NBA and make millions of dollars so I don't have to do anything when I get older? Like if it was that easy, guys, everybody would just have a kid. They would make the NBA. And then in 19 years, you sit back and relax. It doesn't work that way. You have to be a parent. You have to raise your kid. You have to provide for them. You have to mentor them. You have to guide them.
Well,
Same
look
thing
at
is with these
look
trading
at
cards.
look at how cards used to come out of packs. Here's a 1953 Topps Jackie Robinson, and now we can presume that the picture on the left there's hasn't been whatever much work done to it. But look at it used to come out of the pack, off center. Now some of these edging issues and the corners probably developed over time, but they would come out of the pack in like literally like a PSA 4 condition. Now I see collectors, they get their cards and there's a little ding on the corner and they're ready to send it back to Panini customer service or Topps customer service saying, hey, send me brand new cards because look, there's a little ding on the corner. It's like, guys, were you not around? And not necessarily in the 50s, but I mean, this was going back in the late 80s, early 90s when we were opening packs. Cards came out in a condition that was like a PSA 6 or 7. If you got an 8, let alone a 9, I mean, something weird might have happened, or you got a dealer box, or you got a box meant for Larry Fritz or somebody way up in the industry. This is how cards kind of are meant to be. And so now when we're trying to restore these things, like it's a fucking 1968 Camaro or one or the other, we are really fundamentally changing things. And I don't know if the industry is totally prepared. Maybe it'll someday get to that point. Maybe PSA will clean their own cards. Maybe Jeff will become, have a business where he cleans cards. Maybe we'll get to that point, but we're not there yet. People don't want their cards soaked. People don't want their Jackie Robinson submerged in the juice. Period. Now, maybe some people want to do that. That's fine. But PSA is letting you know that certainly beware doing that, because not only will that card possibly get decertified, maybe your account will get banned. Maybe you'll get banned over at SGC as well. So very interesting developments. This is going to be an ongoing topic. And has been for many years. I mean, we covered the trimmed card scandal extensively back in 2019. This is 4 years ago. I feel like we're talking about very, very similar things. Guys are taking cards like this Jackie Robinson that are a PSA 1, a PSA 2, and they're trying to turn it into a 2, 3, or 4. It's not necessarily always trying to get a 9 into a 10 or trying to make 10s. It's really these lower tier cards, and it's not always Jackie Robinson. Sometimes it's just the regular guys. And these cards have gotten so expensive, and the premium paid for a 2, 3, 4, 5 up on the scale. And there is incentive to try to turn these cards into something that they're not. This has been going on a long time. Kurt is trying to kind of make it into the mainstream. And he seems to have a real blind spot that a lot of people use his product as a means of fraud, to try to deceive PSA, to try to deceive another buyer, to try to deceive other collectors. Kurt doesn't see it that way. He says, oh, cleaning's important. This is a really important thing. I can't, why don't you guys want to soak your cards for 30 days in my juice? That's $20 an ounce. I don't understand you guys. He's a real blind spot there.
Just give it away for free. If it's so important, give it away for free. Tell us what it is and just give away the recipe for free. Anybody. It's not like it's some proprietary mixture. He could tell you it's one part this, one part this. If it's so important, Kurt, just give it away for free, bro. No, it's important to you because it's lining your pockets with money. That's why it's important to you. If it was so fucking important to you, then you would just give away the recipe for free. You would just say, here's what it is. No, but you want people to come to your website and buy 3 cents of product for $30. That's why it's important for you. That's why it's important. It's not important to clean your cards. It's only important to clean your cards when you pay Kurt for the cleaning solution. He's not telling you, oh, go use Perfect 10's lube. Go use Sports Card
Mr. Minty.
Jizz, Mr. Minty's lube. No, it's only important to you, Kurt, because it lines your pockets full of money. That's why it's important to you. Otherwise, it has no importance to you. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, he says in the Collect article that, people are treating him like a trimmer Buddy, soaking a card for 30 days in your $20 an ounce jizz and trimming a card, honestly, I don't see that much. There's not that much difference. Getting this tape stain out or trimming this card is probably going to turn this card from a 1 to 2.5, one way or the other. So you're kind of doing the same thing. Your product is being used to deceive PSA, to deceive other collectors, and for fraud. If people just wanted to clean their cards and display them and show everybody on Twitter how amazing their clean cards are, nobody would be talking about this. Nobody really cares. If you want to paint happy trees on your cards, go ahead. If you want to soak them, if you want to do whatever. It's when you're trying to deceive other collectors and when you're trying to deceive the number one authenticator in the game is when people are going to speak up very, very, very loudly. And you're lucky all they're comparing you to is trimmers, because I would say Kurt's the face of fraud in this industry. He's the face of fraud in this industry is Kurt's Card Care. The face. He's like selling burglary tools. I mean, here's how to rob a bank. I'm not telling you to rob a bank, but here's how to do it. Here's how the tools to do it. But guys, don't go to a bank and do it.
Yeah,
He's
and
a fraud.
John Vito's in the chat being like, "Oh, all of a sudden you're anti-capitalism, anti-business." This is not a business. This is fraud. This is deception. This is something that is against the terms of service of one of the most valuable companies in the sports card world. This is deceiving the buyers, the end buyers of these cards. This is not a business. This is like dealing drugs illegally. This is like the people that came from China with their fake Wembanyama cards and fake Louis Vuitton t-shirts. That's not a business, guys. That's not a business. Making fake Wembanyama cards and selling them is not a business. Just like selling product to clean your cards to deceive PSA and deceive the buyers of those end cards. That's not a business. And again, if you're in this for the love and in this because it's a mission, why are you charging $80 for a kit?
Why don't you?
Why are you charging $80? Just tell us what it is. And even the little Schwabs, you got to click on his little Amazon link and get his little affiliate deal to get those. It's not a business. Capitalism is legal businesses, sustainable businesses, businesses that don't fraud and deceit other people. That's a business. You don't go to college and go to business school, which I'm sure John Vito hasn't stepped foot in one. But all my time in business school and college, they didn't teach us, oh yeah, try to find the gray area of a law or, really, really push the boundaries of a terms of service on a company. And you got yourself a great business. That's capitalism here in the United States for you. It's also great here in the United States, Mr. John Vito, is the legal system. And somebody, I don't know if it's PSA. I don't know if it's going to be a customer. I don't know if it's the DOJ, the FBI. I doubt it. Ultimately, a customer is going to sue this guy. He's going to have a situation like the Wembanyama, where it's found out after the fact the card is decertified, or like the Jackie Robinson, after the fact a valuable card is decertified. And now he's sitting back saying, well, why the hell did you put this on your Instagram? I sent you the card to clean it, not put it on your Instagram. And at some point, somebody's going to take a swig of this, or some little kid's going to take a swig of this. And then he's not going to get sued. He's going to get criminally charged for potentially maybe poisoning somebody. No, John Vito. Here's the link. John Vito, call in. Call in. Call in.
Yeah, just call in and whatever you want to say. You can, you
whatever,
could say this is
whatever.
a real business.
And if you think I'm a whiny liberal, I was one of the first people ever, and Ryan can support this. I was one of the first people ever all in on Donald Trump. All in. Minute he rode down the escalator, I called everybody in my family. I'm like, Donald Trump's going to win president. And they all laughed at me. Every single one laughed at me. I live out here in California. Newsflash, everybody in my family's one of these California liberals. I called them all up and I said, Donald Trump's going to win. They all laughed at me. When he won 2 years later, I called them all up and they were all crying.
I wasn't crying.
I'm a realist. This is about being real. This is about thinking about the entirety of the card community, not just Kurt's wallet, not just Kurt's business. Kurt's business is little. To Kurt, it's a big deal. To you guys that have just gotten back in the hobby, when Jeff Wilson told you to collect cards, it's a big deal. I can turn my card that comes out flawed from Panini into an 8 to a 10, and it makes me so happy. Even though I have to spend more on submission fees, I have to crack it, recrack it and submit it and soak it and do these different things. And I have to spend $300 to turn an 8 into 10 to make $200. It's a little thing. Kurt's business is not big. PSA's business is big. It's one of the biggest businesses in the hobby. And they have to protect their business. And again, people that have been in this hobby more than 18 seconds realize this. And the irony of Jeff sitting down and talking about card cleaning, Jeff did a show like a month ago talking about how he supported card cleaning. People are still trying to figure this stuff out.
In real time.
For the people in real time, except for the people that have a brain cell, unlike John Vito. I don't care what I sound like, John. You're listening. You're chatting. You're in the chat. You watch. You watch every week. You will listen every single week. If you don't like the program at Sports Card Radio, go tune into Jeff Wilson. Tell you 1 week, oh, I like card cleaning. I think it's a good idea. Oh, and then now I'm sitting down with the PSA president. Or 2 years ago, it's buy. And now I'm going to open up a card shop and just be selling all the time. Or go listen to any of these other influencers. Be like, I just spent $15,000 at the Chantilly card show on a running back that nobody even knows. So what I sound like on this program, what does it say about you? You're in the chat and you're listening. You think I'm watching Joe Biden's speeches? You think when Joe Biden says something, I'm watching? You think when, I don't even know his press secretary's name, when she's up there talking about what Joe Biden has done, you think I even listen to that? John Vito, you don't know what you're saying. You don't know what you're saying. You're lost. You got too much of that wax fumes from Kurt's Card Care up in your brain. You probably could sue Kurt for ruining a few of your brain cells. You only had about 4 left, and inhaling that wax got rid of a few. Next week you're calling in. That's the girl, John. That's like the girl that gave you her phone number and was like, I'll call you next week. We'll go out next week. She ain't gonna go out with you next week, bro. She ain't gonna be out with you next week. Ryan, anything else?
Does your mom have to let you call in? Like, does his mom have to let him call in? I mean, like,
that might be it. It's getting late.
Like,
10
do you need
o'clock.
permission?
He probably has. Yeah, he probably has
permission to use.
Yeah.
I'm making frantic attempts to. Oh yeah, I'm going extended bidding. Yeah, you guys think you're gonna win some of these things? I'm going. I'm gonna extended bidding. Like, I just think the people who are mad about it, they want to be able to turn cards from 1s to 2s. That's what they want to do. Stop the cloak of business or fuck up. You want to take cards that are 2s and turn them to 4s, and you want to deceive PSA, and you go paint your happy trees on your fucking cards and display them proudly if that's what you want to do.
Get some money. If you can't afford a PSA 10, get some fucking money. What so many of you guys are doing is you're spending 18 hours buying Kurt's Card Care, watching his live streams, getting the juice, soaking it, rubbing it. During that time, you could have gotten an education and probably made a few $100s and actually been able to afford the 10. So many of you guys are jumping over nickels to pick up pennies. Like, if you can't afford a 10, the solution isn't go get an 8 and turn it into a 10. The solution is get some fucking money and go buy a 10 like a fucking real man would. That's like saying, oh, I want a Rolex, Ryan. Damn, I want a Rolex, but I can't afford one, so I'm just going to go get a fake one and tell everybody it's real. You a scrub. You're a scrub. Be a fucking man and save up some money.
Yeah, well, and if you want to paint happy trees on your card, and a company like PSA or other people are like, hey, I don't want my card soaked in a juice for 30 minutes. Just man up and accept it. And I think a lot of people are just upset that Ryan's at Circus. I'm at MGM. Circus. Boy, I haven't been in there in a long. Yeah, that's a long time ago. But Vegas is packed right now. So Vegas is absolutely slammed. I've been making bad decisions, except for my baseball bets. I've been making bad decision after bad decision. But I think it's a bad decision for collectors to try to make new rules. People have been coming into this hobby like Jeff Wilson and tried to make new rules. And companies like PSA, for as bad as they are sometimes, they have rules. And we at Sports Card Radio just actually try to follow them. We don't try to make new rules and say, hey, well, maybe you should soak this card for 80 minutes and get that little tape stain off so that you could turn this card into a 1 into a 2. You guys want to clean your cards, by all means, go ahead and do it. PSA is saying don't do it. Could be a big waste of money if you try. Could lose your account. I think they should publicly shame these people. I think they should leak the list of people who clean cards to Sports Card Radio. Nobody would have to know. Leak the list of Sports Card Radio. Well, I bet these people who are doing this are pretty much known commodities in the sports card world. Bet they have, some of these guys have thousands of followers on Instagram or YouTube or have a shop. Let us know who they are. Can be certainly done anonymously. I think you should shame these people who are trying to deceive PSA or trying to deceive other collectors. Clean your fucking cards. Just don't try to send them in. That's what this is all about. It's all about money. I don't see Instagram accounts being like, let me show off all these cards that I've cleaned and I don't want to sell them. None of them are for sale because these are amazing. Look at my clean house. Look at my clean car. Nobody does that. People clean these cards, get them in a case, and sell them. Period. That's what this is all about. It's not about business. We're against business. Kurt can sell whatever the fuck he wants. He has 20,000 customers. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. He's a business, and he's going to be subject to the laws and states. And he's going to be subject to his customers, who I hope collect, or some other website. I hope some other journalist finds out who submitted these cards. How are they feeling these days? Call into Sports Card Radio if you submitted this batch of cards that got soaked by Kurt and now they're all deactivated. How much did that cost you? How much did it cost you to soak them? How much did it cost you for the cards? How much did it cost you to send them to PSA? Do you still have your account? These are questions that will probably not be answers. You want to know an interesting fact? I saw that I might be eligible to be picked here. 6 quarterbacks taken in the top 12. He did. Bo Nix of Oregon got taken by the Denver Broncos. Since we are getting later in the show, I was with a former cheerleader with the Denver Broncos just the other night. This is not the one that would grade actually highly PS. I've been running hot at the craps table. I like to make mini bets, and I like to make, mini bets with women. So yeah, definitely one of the women I was with the other night, she was a former cheerleader with the Denver Broncos. So don't know how you feel about that, but how do you feel about the Cincinnati Bengals being on the clock? Aren't you a Bengals fan?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we probably need help on the offensive line. I heard this was a offensive tackle heavy draft. It'd be nice to get something, maybe a pass rusher, maybe something on the defensive side. Not a sexy pick at that pick because we're pretty much locked in on a lot of the offensive side of the ball. I'd be surprised if they went offense other than offensive tackle at that position. And so one of these boring picks for the Bengals, but maybe one that'll work out, although they have not had any luck drafting and developing offensive linemen over the past several years. In fact, it's been a big weakness for the team. And so hopefully they get somebody that can come in and produce with very little work needed. Again, unlike a lot of the cards that Kurt's Card Care is sending in, they need a lot of work. I don't know. It's interesting. Christine was the only one who lacks a pair of nuts, but had enough nuts to call into the show. The rest of these guys, positive or negative, are in the chat, but don't want to come on the show. We had the Burger King guy. I mean, the Burger King guy was absolutely fantastic last week. We do have Tim on the line. And Tim, do we have an update on I think everybody, forget this Kurt's Card Care stuff. Forget Ryan bidding thousands of dollars on pictures of men. What people really want to know is an update on the Truple situation. Are we still with the first Truple? Are we, or have we multiplied? Do we have multiple Truples going at the same time? How does the first Truple feel?
I left one of them, but this Tyler guy in chat says Kurt has helped me get 10s consistently.
Again, right. I believe it. And that's here's the deal is this time next year, everybody's going to be doing the same thing. And your 10s, you're going to spend $80 a card to PSA to get $20 in value. Like you're going to spend 80 to get 20, not make 20, but to get 20 because everybody's going to have 10s. Again, this is like going to Miami Beach, guys. Every girl's got a titty job and an ass job. So when you see a nice set of tits, you walking on Miami Beach and you see the nice tits and the nice ass, your head doesn't snap around because every single girl's got it. And so is it special at that point? Once everybody's cards turn into 10s, and that's where we're headed. If you guys think that's not where we're headed, you're insane. Like this time next year, everybody's going to get 10s. And I think PSA announced some other things on Jeff Wilson's show. They're going to reduce turnaround times. Well, that's just going to flood the market even faster. Because in the past, we had the backlog kind of artificially tamp down supply. Because you'd have a hot rookie come out, everybody would pull their cards, they'd send a PSA, they'd be lost, they'd be delayed in transit, they'd be delayed at PSA, delayed to come back, and it was like those first couple ones that hit eBay would set the high bar on the comp, and then it would kind of come down after that. But now they're going to turn these things around in 30 days, and every single one's going to come back at 10 because everybody's going to be waxing and juicing them. And this time next year, instead of Kurt's Card Care juice costing $80, everybody and their brother is going to come up with a solution. Everybody's going to have a solution to this. Kurt's Card Care might have some brand equity, but everybody's going to have a solution. And this time next year, everybody's going to be able to have the solution figured out themselves. They're going to be like, I could just, go buy a $3 thing of wax on Amazon and rub my card with it. That's all I got to do. It's nothing special. I don't have to pay $80 a bottle because the value of your 10s are going to go into dirt. And in fact, I've been hearing that. We don't play the kind of buy and grade and flip game, but I've been hearing about that from those guys, from the guys that do that the 10s just don't have the juice anymore. That you really got to be careful about what set and what product that you are juicing. Because you can spend $80 on the juice. And again, how much time are you spending per card to wax it? Yeah, your arm is getting a little bit of a workout other than when you jerked off. Now you're jerking off your card. Then you send it to PSA. They upcharge you. And then you get your card back. And you just spent $80 to give your card $5 more in value because everybody else did the same thing and you got a 10, just like everybody else. So that's what's going to happen. You guys are going to spend 30 minutes a card waxing it and soaking it and rubbing it. So there's 30 minutes. If you're
$20 an ounce,
you're going to spend $20 an ounce on that. If you're in California, you go work fast food. 30 minutes of work is $10 minus tip, maybe more than that. And then you're going to send PSA money, hand over fist. They're going to upcharge you because you got a 10. They're going to upcharge you, and you're going to spend 80 to make 5. So congratulations, capitalism businessman at work there. Oh my God. And I guarantee you this time next year, none of you guys are going to be driving a nice car. None of you guys are going to have a nice watch. None of you guys are going to upgrade your house. None of you guys are. You're going to be in the same financial position today as you are next year because you're not thinking smart. This is not smart thinking.
this is
And
like
at some
cheating.
point, the gigs, yeah, it works maybe for a little while. It works for a little while, but it doesn't work over the long term. And again, everybody's going to be doing this to their modern and vintage cards. And the value
probably
of top
fucking 'em up.
grades is getting diluted. And
Well,
you're
they'll
probably screwing
fuck
them
'em
up.
Yeah.
I had this Walter Payton. So I had this, I was selling cards. I got this Walter Payton. This thing is like, it's about to crumble. Now it looks like it's in good condition, but I swear you put, this is only from 1982 also. It like, I mean, you have like more modern NBA cards, like this select card or something. Like this thing's pretty legit. This thing is like a piece of tissue paper. So you guys are fucking up your cards long term. You're putting on all this effort to make like $20. You're spending like hours to make like $20.
That's where this hobby is. It's like an 8th grade science project at this point. That's what I feel like sometimes. This, this hobby's turned into who's the best little artist or whatever. It's all in a meant to deceive. It's all meant to deceive. Again, Tim said that somebody left a comment, said, "Oh, Kurt turns my cards into 10s." Exactly. That's what this is about. It's about turning cards into a better grade. This isn't about cleaning cards, restoring cards, painting happy trees on cards, making sure these cards are preserved forever. This is about making money, turning cards into 2s and 3s and 4s. That's what the trimmed card scandal was about. That's why when Kurt says, "Oh, people are treating me like a trimmer," it's the same thing, Kurt. And I know you're watching. It's the same thing, buddy. You might as well just hack an edge off this Jackie Robinson. It's the same thing. Whether you take the tape stain off or you're cleaning the gunk off or you're hacking an edge off, it's the same thing, buddy. It's all in a meant to deceive. It's all in a way to make money. Nobody's thinking about the end collector who wants these cards and who doesn't want them soaked in $20 an ounce Kurt's jizz. Nobody buying these cards. What if this Michael Jordan card was soaked for 30 minutes? You think I would fucking buy it for $2,500, $3,000? I think I won that card. What if this Victor Wembanyama that I put a max bid of $3,000 was soaked in the jizz so that it could get this little dimple out on the back? And God, I got to turn it into a 9 and a 10. You think I would want to buy that if I knew it? That's why nobody discloses what they did to these cards. Except for Kurt, who's probably the fucking stupidest one.
I think he's the dumbest guy.
He thinks this is important. And God, why don't you guys want to watch me soak these cards? Why don't you want this Jackie Robinson after it's been soaked for 30 days in my $20 an ounce juice? I just don't understand you guys. I don't want it soaked in I don't want a girl with lip filler and Botox and fake titties and a fake ass and fake nails and fake everything and fake skin and spray tan and everything else. Don't want it. I'll pass. I'll take a more natural girl that maybe doesn't rate as high on the 1 to 10 scale, as long as she doesn't have all this fucking shit going on. You guys are taking these cards, doing plastic surgery to them, and expecting us to just be fine. Oh, fine. It's a load of shit. And so it's been another bad week for Kurt's Card Care. I don't care about his business. I don't care if he's gotten more customers, or I don't give a fucking shit. I think doomsday is coming. I think it's a lawsuit from one of his customers. I think eventually his customers come after him, because PSA is going to get fed up with this. If PSA does come up with a way to detect this, even at a very minute level, if they're able to retroactively go back and say that has the juice, that has the juice, that has the juice, that doesn't, Kurt's going to he's literally going to have to get on an airplane, because he's going to get sued by every single one of his customers so fast. And probably should, because he never tells you what this is. Let alone if the state government wants to come in here and shut his ass down because he's selling a cleaning product or something that might cause cancer that doesn't have a fucking warning label. I think everything on my desk right here has a fucking stupid warning label on it. Except the marijuana. No, that probably has warning labels on it too. So we do have some other topics to discuss. I'm ecstatic. Did we win the Michael Jordan? It looks like we might have won.
It looks like you won that. I think.
2,900. This sold for like 3,000 just like a little while ago. Cracked case. Probably wouldn't cross over well because the edges are banged up, but we haven't been dipping into Michael yet, and I don't know what people are paying for some of these other dweebs.
Yeah, exactly.
This Caleb Williams card for 1,000, honestly, is I don't mind it. I don't mind it one bit. No, I did not buy it, but somebody else did. But I don't mind it. Looks like you got an offensive tackle from Georgia.
Okay, Georgia. All right. Well, let's see how that works out. Great state of Georgia. Shout out. Yeah, we're struggling over here. We're buying Michael Jordans for $2,900. So we're really, struggling. I've got all my cards laid out over here. I don't know if you can see them.
I should have had the camera. I should have had the camera rolling. When the girl was over here a little while ago.
He was probably making some money.
She was making some money, that's for sure.
That's right.
Speaking of making money, speaking of somebody needs to call in.
This okay
is Mrs. Heather Dennison, founding partner at Ludex. And you might think, what the hell's Ludex? Ludex is one of these things where you download an app, then you scan the card, and then it quote unquote tells you how much it's worth. I mean, it's about as good as a Beckett price guide, to be honest. I mean, come on. Sure. Now, what it does, how this website makes money is it has an eBay affiliate program, so that when you click on links and you go buy something on eBay, they make money. There might be some other advertising or some other ways for this website to make money, maybe memberships, maybe some kind of subscription, maybe access to more pricing, similar to how Card Ladder and how Jeff Wilson's Market Mover works. Anyways, this is almost like, though, in the 5th or 6th tier of these websites who price cards. I mean, nobody thinks, oh, I price my cards on Ludex. I mean, eBay, Card Ladder, Alt, Market Mover, check out my cards. I mean, my own brain, you can name off a dozen places and sites you'd probably use before you'd use Ludex to price their cards. Anyway, it's probably aimed more at beginning collectors and people and people who don't really know what the fuck they're doing. I doubt the technology works amazing, although I have not tried it. The thing I wanted to point out is this is a company that raised not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, but raised $8 million. And recently, this is April 2023. This isn't even the boom from the likes of Brian Urlacher and others. Anyways, this guy and this woman basically run it. This woman seems straight off like the fucking, Malibu goat yoga fucking woke kind of crowd. She's
Hold
attractive
on.
though, and she could
Let's
definitely call me.
well, she can automatically get 5% equity of Sports Card Radio, and then her sole job is to go raise money because clearly she is absolutely
Ish.
fantastic at that.
So I don't know how do you now that we know the Collect raised $4 million. We don't know what they valued it at. Again, here's another company that raised 8 million. Who knows what the valuation is? First, what do you think about that? And what do you think about the valuation of Sports Card Radio these days?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe we need some kind of flashy app or something and get that going, or I don't know. Yeah, it seems to me like the valuations are getting bigger and bigger each week. Certainly, if these people want to reach out for a small fee, maybe we'll continue to pump the product over the next couple of weeks because you probably need customers. You got the same thing with Collect. It's like at some point you kind of need traffic. And at some point you can't just run the story on 86 Fleer. And with these guys, you kind of have your hockey stick in terms of, oh, Ludex, I can take a picture of my card and list it. Hockey stick of demand, and then it'll plateau and quickly drop off. There's a number of different apps I think that do this. It doesn't surprise me that the technology works. AI vision is getting better and better. Where you get the database of these cards, my guess is you're probably just getting that from eBay. They all seem to have fancy offices and things like that. So
No
I think what they all tend to lack is a revenue model. Is a solid revenue model. We've been making eBay money on the eBay Partner Network for 15 years. It's really not that hard. She does have a PhD. It's fantastic. I call the plays. Okay.
What's that? What's a PhD?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is. Look, I mean,
more people.
Makes me, this is one of the reasons why we've constantly put up content on our own website. There's a lot of people that like tweet 24 hours. I know this is big. This is big.
Lord.
Where's the marketing guy? Have the marketing guy reach out to Sports Card Radio and the banner links will be up.
Brand manager right here. Evan.
Yes, there it is. Evan. Don't be like, what was the guy from Starstock that was all mad? I can't remember his name.
Joe.
So don't be like Joe Morelli. That's right. Don't be like Joe and get all butthurt. Send the email out. You don't have to stroke our ego. Just come with a check. That's what we tell people. Like, don't come and say, we like your content. We want to talk about this. We don't want to talk. Just put the number out there and a check.
There are 14 people on this page. Could you imagine if we had 14 people working for us? 14.
We were 4 million. So maybe we need to do some hiring. And we need to raise some money. We need to raise some money. Okay, well, get out to the Silicon Valley and raise some money. So yeah, that's very interesting. Good for her. Raise the money. Hopefully the app is successful. If it is, you can contact Sports Card Radio with a check. Bert's Card Care. How funny would that be? Come on with Bert's Card Care. I think that's a great idea. It's a great idea. Somebody should do that. Just do it. Just do it.
We'll advertise you.
What is he gonna do? What is he gonna do? He ain't gonna do shit. He's in it for the love, not trademark lawsuits. And I'd have the same thing, but like this guy had Bert. Just do it, Bert's.
We'll promote you.
Yep. Affiliate deal.
So yeah, I thought that's
fantastic.
I'm into promoting these websites that are getting multi-million-dollar valuations because I'm like, yeah, that probably makes the valuation of Sports Card Radio that much higher. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Did another quarterback get taken yet? No, it looks like maybe
that's about it. Yeah.
I think you're
yeah. That's a quarterback league, man. As we probably don't need to explain to the chat. I mean, you're either the guy or you're not, and you find out really quick, and then there's a lot of those guys kind of on the fringe. Like you look at like Tua, maybe Trevor Lawrence. There's probably a few others in the league that are good, but not necessarily great. And so even those teams are kind of like, looking for that guy. There's not that many guys in the league
Well,
where you can really put your finger on it.
Atlanta signed Kirk Cousins to the
Yeah,
offseason. Now it's probably technically kind of a 1-year deal with him, but and then you're drafting a guy 8th. So you're making huge levels of a commitment to the
I don't know. They
quarterback
gave
position.
Kurt, like, we heard Cam Newton going on and on. He knew exactly the terms of the contract. He was like, "You could have gotten me and like 10 other guys." So yeah, Cam Newton was not happy about that. And so I think he
Probably
lives
right.
in Atlanta. I think he's from there. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but I think Penix, like you said, he's going to sit behind Cousins. Cousins will probably get hurt, and they might even have a package or two per Penix, but he's going to sit behind him, and everybody's going to be able to pump him all year. And it's Penix,
That's
guys.
great.
Penix, just like Jordan Love, man. Sink your money in there.
It's
Let
great.
it sit.
This is a great night for group breaking, great night for football cards, great night for people who deal in football cards. Like a great night. I mean, you got the top 4 picks. You could Marvin Harrison Jr. cards. They're not going to be selling like quarterbacks, but they're going to be selling pretty decent. I don't know about the LSU receiver who went to the New York Giants. I mean, that's a guy who could sell some cards. Penix,
All these guys, Brock
McCarthy,
Bowers.
all of them. So a great night because you got 6 or 7 teams here that are going to be selling well in group breaks and products in the coming years. So regardless if there's Fanatics autograph exclusives or whatever happens to that, big night for football, big night for group breakers, big night for if you like cheap football products, not a good night for you because 2024 products are going to be very, very expensive. Maybe look for previous years for discounts. So very exciting. Do we have anybody? I mean, gosh, we had these guys who, talk shit in the chat.
They
I'm gonna
both
call in or let me call in. And then they disappear. Oh, I'm gonna call. I gotta talk to my mom and see if she lets me use the phone. And then I might call in 3 weeks from now when my cousin's not here and he's not on the Xbox. And did it like, guys, if you got something to say, you can call in and say it. You can defend your boy Kurt. Maybe he'll spray some jizz on you at some point for the call in, for the shout out. Shout out Kurt's Card Care. But great week for group breakers. Another bad week, I think, for Kurt's Card Care with the collect article and then with Jeff Wilson's thing with the president of PSA basically saying like, no, guys, don't use this. Like, we don't know what it is. We don't know if it's car wax. We don't know if it's jizz. We don't know what it is. We have a guarantee that we have to stand behind. We have to write out checks if these cards come back. The scratches come back. The dent repairs come back. The dimples come back. PSA has to pay out of pocket for these cards.
Yeah.
They don't want to do it. So if you want to clean your cards, go ahead. But don't send them to PSA. And you know what happens then? Nobody will clean their cards anymore. Because the whole purpose of this thing is to get better grades. How we doing? Who we got?
I'm Sean Higgs. How are you?
Sean,
So I have a question about this thing. So I like my old like 80s kind of crap, but I put in the chat. If people do this, do the card companies know that it's been tampered with? Like you guys are saying, it'll just flood a market with 10s if it really corrects it. But how would you know if you buy something that it was played with? And what are the long term? Like like I said, I came in late to the chat and I saw this other on the video before. I was like, how is this going to work? I think it's terrible.
No, I agree. And that's kind of the crux of the argument. Everybody's thinking about themselves. Everybody's thinking about themselves. It's my Jackie Robinson that has the tape stain, so I'm going to clean it off and get it to a 2.5 so I make an extra $400. They're not thinking about the guy, like you said. You're going to buy this card. I'm going to buy this card. Somebody we know is going to buy this card. And then the card's going to fall apart or the tape stain's going to come back. Or in this case, Kurt's going to flex it on Instagram and then it's going to get decertified. Imagine if I had bought this card, I'm going to feel like dog shit. And
they tell you when it's trimmed. Why wouldn't it tell you if it's played with? And how, like you were saying about the joke of, it wasn't even a joke. Like things have warning labels all over them, right?
Sure.
Yet, what is this thing? Like, you have no idea what it is.
Yeah. I think that's his biggest risk. That's his biggest liability, is that, heaven forbid, God forbid, somebody drinks this, somebody spills it on their skin, somebody has an allergic reaction to it. Now we're talking about manslaughter, maybe.
Well, I mean, listen, that's totally different than opposed to somebody's car just getting destroyed that they're going to fight over, like, how you destroyed my
Sure.
card. I mean, I was even thinking about those ramifications of a child drinking it, of who knows what it is. Like, it could be bleach or chloride. Who knows what
I
it is.
don't know.
I just think, I mean, I know people are chatting like, oh, you're coming after this guy for this stuff. But really, if you're like even a novice kind of collector, or if you into graded stuff, this has to concern you a little bit. Like, I don't want a card, and all of a sudden you're looking at it, and it comes out of a box in 15 years when you're dead, and your kids go look at it like, well, there's nothing in here. It's a piece of paper that's fall apart, right? I mean, you don't know what's going to be. How long is this guy testing this? You don't know, right? Am I wrong for thinking that? Like, I want to buy it, my Jose Canseco Donruss rookie card, and in 30 years from now, it's gone. Like,
No,
I don't know.
I don't think, I
Like,
don't
the
think you're
comments
at all.
are people think you're like picking on a guy, but I think it's a legit kind of thing if you're a collector, trying to flip it for yourself or just want to keep it. I think it's a valid argument. You buy something. I am clueless, JQ. I am. I think it's. How would you want to buy something? And again, I'm buying cheesy stuff from my youth between 1980 and 1987 that I like. Right. I'm not even talking about someone who's going to buy some 50s cards or 60 cards or something good, and you don't know what the rim has. Guys been doing testing on this for 10 years. How do you know what's going to happen to your card? I am clueless. You should be clueless too. Someone's going to come in and screw up something. You're going to buy it and be like, "What happened here?" I don't know. And if it works and it could be perfect, then what? Every card's a 10. How is that going to work out for people who want to make money in the business, not just a person who collects for collector's sake and doesn't care about flipping and doing stuff like that? You don't think that's going to hurt somebody? I mean, probably people in the chat want to go on eBay or whatever the case may be and sell cards. That won't bottom out of price when everybody has PSA 10s or SGA, whatever grading company they're using. Everything's a 10. No one,
And even the lower grades will get deteriorated. There'll be more 2s, there'll be more 3s, there'll be more 4s, because the cards that maybe wouldn't, are 1s, or all of a sudden get kind of leveled up, and it will just kind of deteriorate kind of the market for those cards. I think people who are saying that you're clueless, or that people who are talking about this are clueless, well, clue us in. I wish those people would clue us in. Hey, so can you soak a card? I think the Burger King guy was soaking his cards for 30 or 90 days. Does anybody know if you soak a card for 30 or 90 days that the stains are going to come back, or the dimples are going to come back, or the card's not going to fall apart? And I think the answer to that is no. The answer to that is nobody knows the long-term ramifications of these things. Kurt's saying all of the right things because he wants you to buy his product, but he has no testing of this. He has no proof aside from his word. And so I think card collectors should, at the very least, be cautious. PSA is being cautious. They want to grade these cards that have been submerged in the juice. And so I think if you're concerned about this, and I think if you're being cautious about this, I think that is the right way to go. I think the people who are just saying, you guys are fucking stupid, why aren't you cleaning your cards? Those are the ones I want to block their eBay account. I don't want to buy anything from those people, honestly. But I don't know if that makes any sense. Or if
would you have to put like you're saying, would you have to put the disclaimer in that you treated your cards so people would know?
They don't want to do that because they know that devalues the card. That's the thing. Hey, if you guys just put it in a fucking, hey, I soak this card holder, a Kurt's holder, or whatever you guys wanted to do, put in your eBay description that you soaked it for 30 days. And guess what? That card's going to sell for a lot less. And people know that. People know that. Those are the facts. People know that. This is all meant to deceive. This is all meant to make money. That's all this is. People don't want to clean and restore cards. They want to do it to make money. That's my opinion. And so people should be very, very cautious and concerned about this, and have every right to be.
Well, I appreciate you guys letting me come on because that was my concern. Again, I'm a not some. I like doing little my '80s cards. I have fun with them, and I like to buy my childhood heroes. But if like the chat, I get you get your trolls and stuff like that. But I mean, I think it's a legit kind of a question of I want to buy something. I just want it to be real. I don't care if it's in bad shape or goes
Mhm,
bad over 40 years and fades. I think
mhm.
it's a legit concern, and people should take it seriously. I don't know. That's my opinion. I appreciate you guys what you do. I
No,
enjoy
we
your
appreciate
channel
you.
and stuff, and thanks for having me on.
No,
Thank
we
you, Sean.
appreciate
Appreciate
you.
it, my man. Thank you.
It's great to get this perspective from everyday people out there, everyday collectors, everyday buyers of cards, and their opinion on this. We're sitting around. We've been doing this for 15 years. You know, we covered the trim card scandal. We probably have biases, you know, one way or the other. I think it's good to get a perspective. Does somebody want this Jackie Robinson soaked for 30 to 90 days in $20 an ounce juice that they don't know what it is?
The only people that want that is Kurt, who can sell you the juice, and the person that is trying to sell this card. PSA
Period.
doesn't want this. The end buyer doesn't want this. I think the people that are in the chat, they've been sucking on mommy and daddy's titties their whole life. Mommy and daddy probably still pays their rent. They still live at home. Mommy and daddy buys their food. They
That's a
haven't
bigger deal.
actually grown up and become a man yet. That's ultimately what it is. That you actually aren't a man yet. Once you become a man and you earn your own money and you spend your own money, you realize I don't want my shit soaked in the juice. I don't want my tape stains knocked off because I can afford the two. I can work an extra shift and afford a 3, 4, or 5. We got our man Vintage Sports Shack. I was watching his video last night. What's up, my man? How are we doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Fantastic, fantastic. You were calling out the influencers. You were going strong on the influencers, and a little dance at the end. I don't know where we want to start. The dance move, which you clearly have a few of, or do you want to, come strong?
Whatever you want.
Well, whatever. What? Well, hey, that's what she said. I tell you what, let us know. What are you thinking about this card cleaning? What are you thinking about these guys in the chat that think we should be cleaning our cards and none of us should be asking any questions about that?
I think, you know what I think? I think it's a serious problem. What I think about is these high-end guys that got these, PSA 10 Mickey Mantles and stuff. They're the ones that are going to be pissed off the most. Because if you're taking Mickey Mantle PSA 8s and changing them to 9s and 10s, that's just a big difference. I think the big money guys have a say in this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So yeah, the people that have actually been in this hobby a little longer than a lot of these influencers have that you were talking a little shit on, on your video yesterday. If you've been in this hobby for a little while, you've already spent some coin on some Mickey Mantles. You already saved up a little bit of money and bought the high grade stuff. And now these guys are coming with their wax and their lube, and they're turning their lower grade stuff into the high grade stuff. And it's infringing on the cards that you have. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm a real estate appraiser, and I understand the theory of substitution. Technically, you do want all PSA 10s, but you don't want a bunch of them, if that makes sense. You don't want a PSA 9 or a them might as well be tore up and thrown away. They're worthless. And you want PSA 10s, but you don't want a bunch of them. So all it's doing is diluting everything. It's making everything worthless. So I just think that, and I send cards in. I'll go off. Because I'm not really prepared, so I'm sorry. I'm just going to talk.
Okay.
But I just think that it hurts the long-term guys. I got a cousin that's been in the hobby for 30 years, and this has been his passion. And even though I don't think that it's investment because of all of the crooked going on, all the bad shit, if everyone would have stayed pure, all the money he spent over the 30 years, he would have a little bit of investment. But everything he has is worthless now because of what everyone's done. He's one of them guys that stuck to it for 30, 40 years, didn't quit. But now his stuff's worthless because he never graded, so he'd have to put money in to grade his stuff. Most of his stuff probably isn't 10s, so it's worthless, you know, his 80s and 90s stuff. So I just think it's bad all the way around. But I do think grading's important. I do think because condition does matter.
And it's almost with this card cleaning, that condition won't matter. As
No,
we
it
sit here a
doesn't.
year from now, it won't
it
matter.
takes
Other
away-
than centering, maybe it comes out of the pack uncentered. Other than doing a little trim job, it's hard to correct that to a big degree. But it sounds like you can correct a lot of these other flaws, and all of a sudden, condition won't matter, and everything will be like, oh, like you said, you're a real estate appraiser. The reason why the houses on the beach cost more is because there's a limited supply of the beachfront property. Well,
Exactly.
all of a sudden, we're going to be sitting here a year from now, and everybody's modern Prism cards are going to be sitting on the beach. And is it really going to be that? Are we really going to be making that much money? So it's a lot of this short-term, short-sighted stuff. That's what I think. Vintage Sports Shack, you had a hot take. You had a big take on Sports Card Dad. You were not happy with Sports Card Dad. What's your beef? What's your beef with Sports Card Dad?
Sports Card Dad, that whole little trio of them, the way they act like they run the hobby. I mean, it's just embarrassing. You know, I was really into them when I got into the hobby because you're fed into these guys' algorithms, fed into you. So, I mean, I followed them, and I had Dustin's back. He has a special needs kid. I had a special needs kid. But what? I mean, if you really want to know what was the straw that broke the camel's back, when he did that video in the Rogue copying SCV Sports, I just thought that was cringe. I just thought that was too much for me. So, I don't know. I'm just one of them guys. You turn my switch off, it turns off.
I hear you. What about Card Collector 2? I think you had you didn't share a lot of thoughts on your video about Card Collector 2, but do you have beef with Card Collector 2? You got a problem with him?
You know, I did right at first. The first time I met him, he was in Shipshewana about a year and a half ago or so, and he was taking advantage of little kids. And I got on his YouTube when I first started my channel, and I started blasting him. And if you notice, he really has gotten a lot better. I didn't do it publicly, really. I mean, I did it right into his comments. I was like, dude, I was there when you ripped off that kid. You need to start doing this. Quit, you know, I mean, but I don't really have a problem with him. Besides, he's greedy, but, you know, anyone in a business should be a little greedy. So I don't really have a problem with people's business models. You know, you don't want to pay someone. It's the lying that I don't like.
How did Card Collector 2 rip off kids?
Well, I don't know if you could say rip off, but these kids, they want to be in his videos. So you'd have a $20 card and he'll say, I'll give you $2 for it. And they'll say, yeah, you know, just because they want to be in his video, you know, and he did it to like a 5-year-old, you know, so it wasn't like a 14-year-old black carrying case kid. It was a kid. So.
And do you think he's gotten better at that? Do you think he's still doing this? Or
Yeah,
is this
because if you notice, he asked them, what do you want now? He don't give the first offer price. He always asks them what they want. And if you give him a price and he says, yeah, then, you know, what are you going to do? He's not putting that price out there first. So I think he changed that. I think he knows that's the right way to do it.
What other influencers are you not a fan of? It sounds like you've changed your tune. It sounds like you're sour on Sports Card Dad. Changed your tune a little bit on Card Collector 2.
Yeah.
Is there another influencer you're not a huge fan of?
I don't know if you guys heard of him, Sports Card Radio.
Sure. Yeah. I don't like those guys either. They talk, yeah.
You guys don't like him.
Topic. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm crazy as hell. I've been married 3 times. I go back and forth. Sometimes I hate AIH sports. Sometimes I like him. You ask him. I've said shitty things to him, you know, back and forth. So, I mean, it's just what day it is. I quit smoking 2 weeks ago, so I've had a bad 2 weeks with everybody.
That'll do. What is, are you currently married, and what does she think about the card drama and card collecting and cleaning?
I am not currently married. I am the president of the He-Man Woman Haters Club. I got a sign hanging in my bedroom. So after the 3rd one, I gave up.
you've given up totally? Are you still going on dates? Or like how does that work?
I'm abstinent. I have 6 kids. I don't need more kids.
Wow. So you quit smoking and you're not going out with women. So
No sex, no smoking, no Mountain Dew.
Do we have alcohol? Do we have
I'm badass. I am tough.
How do you sustain that life?
West Side.
Yeah, how are you going to be able to sustain this sober lifestyle? Do you think you're going to have to dip back into the life of sin at some point, or what are your?
I've been abstinent for 5 years. So
is this by choice or
it's by choice? Trust me.
What's wrong with the women over there? Like, what's up with is it a bad quality of women? They're like PSA 2s, 3s, and 4s, or like what's the situation with the women out there?
No, I only date PSA 10s, but they seem to take all my money when I get divorced, and that's not a good thing anymore. I'm getting too old to do that.
So some of your card collection is sprinkled across 3X wives, is what you're saying.
That's the only thing I really dragged through the whole thing. See, because I took custody of my kids when I got divorced, so they didn't get everything. I'm not stupid. Remember? I took custody of my kids. I got child support. So
if you pay a consultation fee, we can hang out.
Oh yeah, Tim's an expert in women. So if you did want to dip back into the game, I don't know if you're trying to get back into the game, but certainly we could help you out there. By all,
I'll get back in the game if she's like 25 and worth it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
you're gonna take
I'd get back in the game, but all the women my age, have you seen a 50-year-old lately? I mean, come on.
Hey, our girl over here, Miss Dennison might be pushing. I don't want to divulge her age, but she might be pushing 40s or ish. You know,
I know, but let's be serious. Do you think she'd be into me? No.
It depends how much money you got. It depends how much money's in that bank.
Yeah, that's why I'm going back to work a little bit, because I need more money. I realize the women like money, and sports cards ain't where all the money's at. So.
They don't think these cards are cool. They don't want a Kurt's Card Care box for Christmas.
No, it's kind of like the 40-year-old virgin. All my stuff's down in my basement. Upstairs is like all my expensive artwork and my Persian rugs. And no, I don't take them to the basement. Yeah, remember, that's like I'm not stupid.
Yeah, the 4th date, maybe you can take them to the man cage and show them some baseball cards, maybe.
Yeah.
Vintage Sports Shack, got anything else for the lovers and the haters of your content out there?
No, I've got calls with PSA next week with the fraud department. So I got some stuff coming up. I did call the FBI. I did talk to them for 20 minutes last week. Just general questions, wanting to know what laws were being broken, basically. You know, and what I got out of them, PSA is the one with all the power. They're the ones being deceived originally. So they can turn in, and I'm sure they would. If they got a card from, $500,000, $1 million, and wanted to turn someone in to defraud them, they could turn them in. If they got sued or something, I'm sure it's going to happen. So, but I'm excited to talk to, I don't want to tell the people the names, but I'm calling PSA May 2nd. I've got a scheduled couple calls. So. Okay. That's coming up, but besides that, I'm just doing my thing.
That's awesome. You're gonna come back on here after your conversations?
Yeah, there you
go. Yeah, I can come back on. You want me to?
Yeah, we'd love that. And kind of fill us in on what they said and if they have any new details to share and just kind of how those conversations went. Because
here's my point. I don't know if you guys know, but I don't wipe down cards. I don't do anything. I send them in. And I spent $30,000 over this last year grading cards. And my question to them when I first contacted to them, explain to me how it's fair and how you don't owe my money back if you can't detect someone cleaning cards and I didn't do it. Now knowing that you can't detect it, I could have cleaned my cards, got better grades. Someone owes me money. So I want to see what they have to say about that, because I mean it makes sense to me, but maybe I'm out in left field.
You still got some dance moves, boy. We got to take you out. We got to get you out, and I think we're gonna get the ladies all over you, all over
When
Vintage Sports Shack.
when we were kids, we would. Well, never mind. I'll save that story for another day. So that's why we danced. So we always did when we were kids.
I'm telling you, I think the ladies are gonna love the dancing from Vintage Sports Shack. We're gonna come out there and find some bars around here. Whereabouts are you?
I am in Angola, Indiana. It's right in the Tri-County, Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana. So right in the middle of everything. 3 hours from Chicago, Cleveland, Indianapolis, Detroit, right in the middle. It's actually not a bad place to live if it wasn't getting cold all the time, but beautiful country.
I hear that. Yeah. There's probably some wholesome girls around there.
Yeah.
Look, we appreciate you calling in. Be sure to call us next week or when you have your conversation with PSA and let us know how that goes.
I will. All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right, brother. We'll be talking to you soon.
See you.
That was Vintage Sports Shack,
ladies and gentlemen.
I watched that video last night. Thought it was solid.
I love people who come with a strong take, a strong opinion.
Yeah.
And that always plays very well, regardless if you agree or disagree. Just come with a strong take, and that's a successful video, in my opinion.
No doubt.
Looks like the run of quarterbacks has fizzled out, but the group breakers got all they need. They 6 in the top 12. I mean, that's probably
this is great.
This is
multiple $100 spots in a break. I mean, if you're not a breaker, get into the bit. Forget this card scrubbing and rubbing stuff. Go get a distributor account and start selling some of this cardboard. I mean, good God. Instead of sitting there waxing and rubbing your cards and sending them to PSA and having to wait and getting upcharged, and they might deactivate your account. Dude, just go get a couple of blasters at Target and a whatnot account, and you're going to be a millionaire this time next year. I mean, my God, it is going to be. And can you imagine, Ryan, if Caleb Williams plays well, Bo Nix plays well, Penix gets in the game and throws a touchdown? These guys are going to be beside themselves.
This boy Drake May. I mean, if they're going to be comparing him to Tom Brady like yesterday.
He's going to be dating Giselle tomorrow.
Damn, I might buy his card if he's doing that. Could you imagine if he actually that would raise the value of his cards if he started literally
like Giselle's daughter. I don't know if she's old enough.
I think it would be better if it was Giselle. If he was dating Tom Brady's ex-wife. Wow, God, like that would be
a trouble. She's with like her yoga or judo instructor. He pulls a Tim, and they form a trouble of Giselle, judo instructor, and Drake May. That'd be strong.
That'd be strong.
Or if Tom's daughter's 18 and older, he goes after that. That would be
very aggressive.
I gotta be
very aggressive. Yeah, Tim's got to be there producing the TV episode.
Oh man.
So very exciting times for football card collectors, very exciting times for sports card collectors. Guys, if you do want to call in,
I'm gonna hit a couple questions. If somebody wants to call in, drop it. And yeah. David Snyder says he got the Rolex, look like a Submariner. Do you insure your watches? You don't have to. I have done some insurance on the jewelry in the past. What I've heard is, man, if you put, let's say it's $200, sometimes it's like $200 a year, $300 a year, depending on what you're insuring. If you put that aside and you go 10 years, even 15 years without a loss, you could almost buy yourself another watch with what you spent to insure your watch. Get a big old safe that's fireproof. I don't wear my watches a lot. Certainly if I go to San Francisco or something like that, I don't have it on. But I roll the dice and mine's like 50. The one I wear a lot is about 50. And if it gets taken off my wrist or I lose it or gets stolen, I'm not like these guys in the chat. I'll make another 50. I'll go buy another one. That's kind of how I feel. But if you want to insure it, I'm not going to tell anybody not to insure their stuff. Makes you feel better, sleep better, by all means. Christine came on. Good evening, fellas. She came on. It was great talking to her. Golden Touch was nominated for an Emmy. I saw that. Can't wait for Ken to thank the audience when he wins. Yeah, right. Why haven't we been called, Ryan? Aren't they filming season 3? Why haven't he's going to get nominated for an Emmy, but if he has us on, he'll win one.
I think there should be a storyline where me and Alex Giamo like have a thing, and that could be like that could carry a whole season.
Well, I'll message her and see if she's interested in that.
See if she wants to do that.
Okay. I don't know. You air your dirty laundry out here. She's quite a fine young lady. I don't know if we want to subject her. Would you clean up your lifestyle if Alex was the reward?
We could get married right now. Like we could
could just
do the wedding. We could have the Sports Card Radio wedding.
Wedding.
Come on.
Yeah.
Let's get serious.
Like the Saved by the Bell wedding or whatever.
Now wait. We saved that for season 4 of the Golden Touch. We have this build up, this arc, right?
Sure.
Where it's
Full
like
drama.
we get together. Right. And then I do something.
Tim tries to step in and Tim tries to step in. Right.
That would be some
Butler.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, but ultimately it leads to a wedding at the end of season 4. So that season 5, it picks up with us having this like life or whatever in some penthouse in New York or something.
And then Ken buys Sports Card Radio for $10 million and then you're set.
For over $8 million. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
4.2 million.
I'll take that.
8.4 or actually, we need a little more than 8.4 million. So we all end up with like 4.2.
Correct.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
There we go. That's the plan.
Trevor says chasing cardboard is ripping off sick people again. Watch the video. I didn't watch the video. But that is
oh no, what happened? What happened
for next week, Ryan?
What happened? What video is it? Is it this one?
I don't know.
Oh no, they're back.
What
is that? Where's Rick?
That looks wow.
Where's Rick?
That's definitely real. That's definitely real.
Yeah,
that is real, guys.
Where's Rick?
There's no doubt about that. That's authentic and real.
Where's Rick?
Oh, I don't know. Apparently, you just need PSA.
Oh, that's true.
Auburn Trading Card says we'll give you a free table at the Auburn Trading Card Show, Christine. So, Christine, you have a standing offer, and Auburn Trading Card Show is off the hook. I mean, god damn, like you can make money trading. We ain't just saying that because we a fan of Juan here from Auburn Trading Card Show. That is I couldn't make it to the last one. I was kind of bummed, but I had, I had real stuff going on with family, but some real stuff.
I sold my whole table in 2 hours, and I was actually upset about it because I was like, damn, if I had like way more stuff, that would have been like 5 figures, just like stacked.
Free tables for real.
Oh, free tables for real. And the amount of traffic at the shows is because it's free parking, free admission. So you get everybody shows up at those ones. These shows that cost $15 to get in, it's only going to be the Pelican Case kind of crowd. If it's free parking, free admission, oh boy, you just bring as much stuff as you can because you're probably going to sell it. You're going to sell
10 cents. Yeah. The other, like Ryan said, if it's $20 to get in, it's the 80% off, 80 off comp and Pelican guy. That's the only guy that shows up to that. Queen City Cards with the $2. I live in Buffalo. Christine, contact me to fight. I think he's upset. Is Darren Rovell and collect a shill or a real deal? I think he's going to try to do the best to what he raised $4 million or whatever. Mm-hmm. He's going to pump this as much as he can, get as much traffic and views to the website as he possibly can to somehow justify a valuation like that. And I hope he does, because if his website's worth 20 million, he'll be retiring here in the next year. Brian, thank you. Queen City Cards came on last week too. Appreciate it. Brian, great show. Guys, where would I submit artwork or designs for? Oh yeah. So we were looking for artwork submissions, and yes, we got a few emails. I'll have to get back in there.
I gave him an email.
Yeah, sportscardshow@gmail.com. We're looking for something very. I don't like to give rules to artists, but just something cool, I guess is how I would say it, or unique or whatever. And yeah, we'll talk about payment, we'll talk about compensation. I will compensate the artist for it as well. It won't be life changing.
Community vote.
Maybe we could have something like that.
Your top 5 or 3 favorite.
Almost like I'm like from the Steve Jobs camp, whereas like Apple knows what you want before you do. And so it's like I almost like feel that way about design, is like we almost know what they want. All we know is they need quad XL. We need a lot of quad XLs.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get the quad XL. We're gonna do that. Looks like there's a Discord. I was on Discord today. My thumbnails on my investor channel are just so good right now. They're on fire. People are loving them. Thank you, Discord. And thank you. I said Discord because Midjourney's on there. Matthew White, you guys are the shit. I love the content. I laugh every time these twig boys cry to mama. That's right. Yeah. Thank you. If you tune in the show and you get a laugh, you get angry, any kind of emotion, that's what we want. There's a lot of these creators, man. You watch their video and you leave it. It's almost like you walked outside in humidity or something. All you get is kind of like a sweat. You don't really feel good. You don't feel happy. You don't feel sad. You just kind of feel, like you drank some lukewarm water or something out of the tap. Mm-hmm. When you on Sports Card Radio, we want you feeling like it's sparkling water that's spiked and mixed, and you had a little maybe white powder on the table, and you line that baby up. Boom. The bullhorn's hot mic. Tim needs higher percentage if you get more employees. That's true. Maybe we'll have to put him in charge of maybe we'll have to like a salaried employee, because these guys making salary over here.
I'll be a director of operations.
That's right. Director of
Rick Galvez. Rick Galvez.
Excuse me. Rick Galvez. Excuse me. Was SCR offered an appearance fee at the Toronto show? I'll check my email, but I don't think so. Mojo and Prison God.
I wish. Doubling
up in Canada. Don't those two request appearance fees? The rumor is that Mojo Sports requires a $5,000, not 5,000 pesos or 5,000 Canadian dollars. We talking 5,000 American dollars to show up and host a trade night at your card show. $5,000. Mm-hmm. $5K. That's the rumor on the street. Spoiler alert to all you trading card shows out there. If you want Sports Card Radio to show up, it ain't going to cost you $5K, but if we do show up, we're going to show up at this event. Yeah, we're going to show up at this Fanatics event, and then they're going to be like, Tom who was here? Derek who? Jeter who?
Oh, should we tell people how we were recognized in Las Vegas?
We were we at not a card event. It was just randomly at a pizza joint.
At a pizza joint.
Yeah, at a pizza joint. That has happened. That's happened to me at Sports Card Radio. I was at the post office and somebody noticed me, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of weird. Never have that happen for Sports Card Radio." Now, if you're at a card show, of course, should happen. Like it happens all the time. We were taking pictures of the last one. But my other YouTube channel was amazing. I was at CES and I got noticed multiple times. It feeds the ego. The ego just exploded. Like my ego was already a PSA 10, and then they put a qualifier on it and was like, now it's an 11.
I wish when I was walking through the MGM with some of these questionable decision girls that I'm with, if somebody would walk up to me and be like, "Are you Sports Card Radio?" And I could just look at her and be like, "Look, I'm famous, bitch."
You're still gonna have to pay her hourly rate. Jason Moran with the $2.
It could cost me more. She could think I'm somebody and be like, "Yeah, maybe not." Yeah,
it's a bad idea. Jason wants to know if there's a Morelli update.
I've got nothing, literally nothing from Morelli. No text, no nothing, no messages. Not anything from Star Stock. Literally nothing. Got nothing. So I think he was a young guy. Yeah, he was a young guy. He got overheated. He got mad at the stupidest thing. The video wasn't about him, wasn't trying to attack him. He got mad because I showed his name in an email. He has a very common name. Nobody's going to associate him with this. Nobody noticed it but him. Nobody who watched that video noticed Joe Morelli, except for him and probably his buddy who worked there who told him that he was to watch the video. So he got mad at the dumbest thing. He texted me 2 hours before we went live that he was going to meet me at my house. My parents were going to be brought into it. I was going to be put 6 feet under. I should investigate Arena Club. I should investigate Bleaker Trading. Everybody was going to be sued. He's not a pussy like some of these other influencers. I thought that I'm not a pussy like these other little influencers. So, yeah, predictably, he has gone silent, which is the smart thing to do. Very, very, very smart thing to do. We were starting to get emails and kind of correspondence about him from some of these other people, some of these people he might have attacked. So I think he did the right thing and kind of ran with his tail between it. That was the smart thing to do, was actually just to back off.
These guys usually come hard in the pain, then they realize not a wise decision. Christine with the 5 again was on tonight. Why don't people making fun of my looks call in so we can see how much they don't look like Leonardo DiCaprio?
Thank you.
That's
Thank you. That's a guys, walk around the Cleveland National.
Oh my God.
Here in a little bit, guys, in Cleveland, and you gonna see nobody. We start grading men. I think women should go to this and start grading the men on a 1 to 10 scale on their physical appearance, what they're wearing, what they're doing, their weight.
I mean, and we'll
broadcast it.
Look, not to toss the caller under the bus, but we did have someone call in and basically say, now he did have many kids, so we know he's proven himself in that arena. But he's been on the sidelines for a little while, and my guess is a lot of these guys in the chat that ain't Bob Boozle, that ain't like the crew. The closest they get into some wax and some lube is Kurt's Card Care. Let's be real. Let's be real. Queen City Cards,
they use it.
That's it. That's why they're a huge fan of Kurt. Queen City's Cards again with the $3. I won an Emmy in 2023 for an investigative story. Wow.
There we go.
That's a huge accomplishment.
I'm talking about.
Huge accomplishment. And again, if Ken will get nominated for an Emmy, but until Sports Card Radio appears on the program, that is when it'll seal the deal for a win.
Dude, he needs 12 seasons. And the way he does that is there's a love connection, there's trouble, there's a marriage, and there's an aftermath. That's like 4 seasons. And a divorce.
A Tim coming in with a triple proposal.
Right. Tim comes and and creates a wedge or whatever. Like,
then there's like drama in the business. There's drama at the relationship.
Ratings. Ratings gold. Ratings gold.
Emmy. We're forget ratings. I think he has that. Now it's time to win the Emmy, I think.
Okay.
Turn it into bigger than the Kardashians.
That's what I'm talking about.
Good idea. Great idea. Title City Sports Mike with the $5. Hey guys, see the Tom Brady autos at the event he was at. He was pissed. Yeah, I saw that. It seemed like unfortunate. I do think that Collect's been doing a nice job kind of like going a little more in depth on some of these stories. And
that one. There's another one.
Yeah, it's a situation that I'd be pissed. I think they said some of these guys are rubbing these signatures off of their items. I don't know if I would go that far. I think Beckett too. Steve Grad came with a hard take, basically being like, we're not going to authenticate these. Tom's a dickhead. He's been doing this a long time. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I think he should be able to sign however he wants. Like if he wants to sign like that, he should be allowed.
Yeah. And I don't know if you already have, to me, this is like you're dating a supermodel and then you want to date her sister. Like, I don't know if that's the wrong way to look at this. You already have, like, one of these dudes had like a touchdown, Tom Brady's touchdown to Gronkowski, or he had a draft ticket, one of only a few known. You already have something great. And now you're trying to, like, you know what I mean? It's like these guys that buy these Rolexes and put these diamonds on them. In that market, it's well known that it devalues it. And there's always that chance that you get Tom on a bad day and he does this to your item. Like, to me, you would have had no, if you just had a piece of paper and Tom signed it and he signs it like that, there's no disappointment level. And how much happy are you that he signs the touchdown football? Again, you're already of Tom Brady items. We're talking about like Giselle level type of item there. You know, the only thing higher than some of this stuff is like his own Super Bowl ring, his own personal Super Bowl trophy, maybe the Super Bowl jersey that he won it in. You know what I mean? Like, there's not that many items that are that much better than this. And you have to fly to Miami to get him to sign it? Like, is it making your item that much better?
Well, he has to sign it a certain way. He has to also sign it a certain way, or you're going to be pissed.
Or you're going to be pissed. Like, I don't know. To me,
this is all about making money. If I met Eddie Vedder and he fucking took 2 seconds to scribble anything for me, I would be ecstatic.
Hey, thanks, buddy. Yeah. Well, and even if you had to pay $3,600 to get backstage, that's more the scenario here. Is these people paid? They flew to Miami. It's not cheap to get to Miami, stay in Miami, XYZ. But it's like you already had a great item. I don't know. This reeks
Tom
of
Brady said he was duped, that he thought he was not going to have to sign such collectible stuff, that maybe he signed like a pamphlet or something that wasn't like, you know, Tom Brady knows what he's signing. Tom Brady knows the value of his autograph as well. So I think Tom Brady thought he was maybe duped, that if he was going to have to sign a few autographs for some VIPs and maybe it'd be like a little picture or a little something. I don't think he thought he was going to get game used footballs with tape and it telling him exactly where to sign. So Tom was probably pissed and he was like, oh, here you go. Here's your autograph. And now these guys are coming back mad. You paid the money. Tom Brady signed it. It ain't like he didn't sign it. He decided to sign it a certain way. If you're mad about it, I don't know. Go meet him out in front of a hotel and try to get him to sign it, sign it better. I don't know what to tell you guys. So if people are outraged by this or think Tom Brady owes them, and I don't know if people are, I think he should be able to sign however the hell he wants.
The Beckett guy, Steve Grad, who was on Pawn Stars or whatever, he was pissed. He can just, hey, Steve, just tell us if the autographs are real or not. Don't fucking evaluate how Tom signs or how he wants to sign. This is how he wanted to sign that day. Yeah. And like I said, I don't know. This is like having a supermodel wife with some C cups and then being pissed that they're not D's or something. You know what I mean? Like you already have something nice here. You already had a nice collectible. I don't get, this is like the guys that pull the 1-of-1 cards and then they go get the guy to sign it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know. And then, yeah, like you said, there's tape signed here in silver, Tom, and he signed it in black ink. It's like, Tom Brady's not your bitch. I don't care if you pay him $3,600 or not. He's not your bitch. And I'm certainly not sitting here. He signed it. He did sign it. So I don't know. I think if you already have a nice item, there's always a risk. You take it to one of these events and something happens. And this is one of the events where something did happen. So it's much better just to leave this on the shelf. And that's it. That's it. Leave it on the shelf.
It's the Kurtz card syndrome. You got to try to make everything better.
Yep. Everything's got to be better.
Squeeze every dollar you can out of every item you have and put tape all over it and tell Tom where to sign it. And then, if he doesn't sign it right, you're mad.
Right. Not being satisfied. Why are there so many people in this hobby that just are not satisfied? Just don't take satisfaction in, I have Tom Brady game used cleats. I have Tom Brady Super Bowl football. I have Tom Brady sign that. He even got Tom to sign it. He signed it in a lazy way.
Met him to get it signed.
Met him. Got to go to Miami. Miami, which is popping right now. It's not like you had to go to Cleveland. You got to go to Miami. And you got him to sign it. And you met him. And you got to hear him talk. And now you're a whiny little bitch when he scribbled on your shit. And then the authenticator guy's a whiny little bitch too. Like taking shots at Tom. Like Tom hasn't put money in his pocket over the years. How many autographs has he authenticated of Tom and collected money on? Just be happy with your shit, guys. You know what I mean? Like, just be happy with what you got.
He defaced our stuff. Like, you got him to sign it. He signed it, and you're mad about it? This is the hobby for you, right? This is the hobby 2024 for you right there. Got to turn our 2s into 4s by submerging them in Kurt's jizz at $20 an ounce for 30 days. And you get Tom Brady, like one of the greatest athletes all time, to take a moment and sign something for you,
And
probably
you're
even
mad.
take a picture with you, and you're mad.
And you're mad. Yeah, they were taking pictures, I think, too.
100 people got autographs and pictures. And now the stupid sponsor didn't let everybody know that that the items that he was going to sign had to be through an approved vendor. You couldn't just start bringing in game use football and cleats and stupid shit like that. So whoever set up this little business talk or book signing or whatever the fuck it was stupid. It's not Tom's fault. He saw this. He probably could have just walked out and been like, no, this isn't what I agreed to. He was actually nice. He did give you guys a little scribble. I don't think he owed that to anybody. He signed it. It's real. Steve Grad can shut the fuck up. Just authenticate it. Nobody wants your opinion on Tom Brady. Just shut up and authenticate him, bro. That's my opinion. Here we are defending a millionaire.
Why does he do this? Yeah, to take a second stab at Tom. Why do you do that? If you got hundreds of millions of dollars, which he probably does. Well, he got divorced, so maybe he's got less.
He got divorced. This could also be a favor. You never know. Like, hey, I'll come and talk to this event, and then you get my PJ for a year. I don't know. So yeah. I don't mind this. I don't mind this at all. It's people who come to these things and expect Tom to fucking bend over backwards for him. I don't get it.
Yeah. Giveaways may be coming to the Discord as well.
There we go.
Didn't look like anybody else called in. We're approaching the 3-hour mark. We were up against the NFL draft. I think NBA playoff games as well. We appreciate everybody for taking time out of their Thursday night to tune in on today's show. We got halftime of the Nuggets game. So
the overhit won that bet. Ooh. The overhit in the Magic game.
Damn. Ooh, the Thunder whacked them too. Okay.
The overhit in that one too,
folks. That was Sports Card Radio Live.
There's one more donation comment.
Say that again.
There's one more donation comment.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Alex. $4.99. Hot take. You won't convince me the new Gummy Bear DD cups aren't acceptable. What are gummy? I don't know.
It's dangerous. Me Googling this right now. Oh, wow. This is dangerous.
Yeah.
Very dangerous.
A new style where it just feels more natural.
Really?
Like some.
Wait.
Yeah,
wait. So we had the silicone ones. Now we calling them Gummy Bear?
It's a new material.
So it's like a gummy bear material.
Yeah.
And so they put have you had your hands on the gummy bears, Tim?
No, but my friend has. He says they feel really awesome.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Now I understand with the don't ask me how I know this. But with the fake, the fake ones, there's scarring. So you either come in, from the front or the side. I'm assuming the gummy bear method still has that aspect to it. I'm assuming
you can come in through the nipple and there's less scarring now. I think.
I see. Okay. Wow.
Here we are talking about breast.
Right. Thank you, Alex. This sparked a beautiful topic here.
Yeah, great conversation.
So I think maybe we should set a bounty on this. As Ryan and Tim are the only two single men that have the chance to get gummy bears. I don't think my wife has any interest in getting gummy bears, but the first Sports Card Radio team member to get their hands on the gummy bears and have get a live report, that would be quite interesting. So thank you, Alex. It's fantastic. This is why
invited to like a sex party type deal, like a whole organization, like a club.
A club. Does it cost money to be in this club, or you just get invited?
I don't think so, but it's like exclusive.
Damn. It's like the big club, and there's Tim's club.
Oh
man. God damn.
Donation said no scarring. They come in through the armpits now.
Yeah. Okay.
It's getting good.
All right.
It's getting good.
These gummy bears. See these gummy bears popping out here pretty soon, and I expect a full report when either Ryan or Tim gets their hands on the gummy bears, and we'll give a full. I think we've talked enough about card cleaning and waxing and rubbing. I think some discussion about the gummy bears would be appropriate to offset some of this. Folks, gummy bears aside, now that's probably a pleasant place to end this. Thinking about the gummy bears. It's 8:30 here on the West Coast, 11:30 Eastern time. The NFL draft continues to roll on. You can catch the second half of the Laker game. Ryan bought a Michael Jordan card and several other cards tonight. Several Kobe Bryant rookie cards as well. I was very excited about that.
Nice.
Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back potentially next week. And I say potentially because there's always that chance somebody in this industry, instead of investing in second-tier apps that have no chance of doing anything, second-tier media sites, which are just regurgitating stories that they're reading online, the only unique content being put up in the sports card business is right here at Sports Card Radio. It has a lot to do with the fans and the chat. Nobody has the type of chat. Nobody is talking about Kurt's Card Care and then gummy bears in the same show. That is why Sports Card Radio reigns supreme and reigns at the top of the sports card industry and always will. And unless we get bought out, we'll be back some other time, some other place, likely next Thursday night. We'll see what location Ryan is in, and we'll see what exclusive clubs Tim is being invited to. Till then, we're out of here.
B-side on the beat.
What's going on with that PPP? You done a lot of talking, not a lot to see. Up in the millions like 2.3, but Jeff got it all, getting off scot-free. Try to talk tips like we talking about stock, but you're talking about men printed on called stock. When you open your mouth, I take it with a grain of salt, cause the market's down and you're a clown, it's all your fault. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. Did you dip, Jeff? I think you dipped, Jeff. What you talking about? I don't think you dipped yet. Willie's doing shady shit like the GOBs, like his whole failed thing with them NFTs, taking money from the people to pay. Most of them are broke, but that's okay. He's getting money. Even better, tax-free. Loving all the stimulus from PPP. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit.
B-side on the beat.
PPP. You done a lot of talking, not a lot to see. Up in the millions like 2.3. But Jeff got it all, getting off scot-free. Try to talk tips like we talking about stock, but you're talking about men printed on called stock. When you open your mouth, I take it with a grain of salt, cause the market's down and you're a clown, it's all your fault. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. Did you dip, Jeff? I think you dipped, Jeff. What you talking about? I don't think you dipped yet. Willie's doing shady shit like the GOBs, like his whole failed thing with them NFTs, taking money from the people to pay. Most of them are broke, but that's okay, he's getting money. Even better, tax-free, loving all the stimulus from PPP. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit.
PPP and gummy bears. We'll see you guys next week.